everyone. As the lunch break is over, we were listening to the World Cup final there, and Nestlers. And how are you? How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Considering with all this weirdness, I haven't seen you.
Well, no, I
all
feel
the weirdness has started.
I know. I really enjoyed you at the guerrilla coverage of the IPL, which you guys were obviously central to. That was very enjoyable. I thought, must admit, I haven't got into the Big Bash. I was with Hendo on that conversation this morning. I was just thinking, Australia-India Test match is going on. Why are we talking about the Big Bash?
Well, we it's just, I suppose, a timing issue. We wanted to do some cricket, and it was good fun. I mean, it's as the Bear was saying though, I've done so much bloody T20 recently. It was such a joy to do this Test match yesterday.
Because I just
the amount of time you've got to think and talk and and not worry about power plays and X factors.
I discovered guerrilla cricket during an India-Australia series, you see, so that's what really turned me on to guerrilla cricket in the first place. So I was really coveting that.
Yeah.
And every time the Big Bash came on, I thought, no, we're playing. This isn't the real thing. But
it's cricket.
Cricket, yeah,
but not as we know it.
Yeah, not as we know it.
But it's it's such a different sort of philosophy, if you want, of ways of playing. It's a joy to be back on yesterday.
Indeed, joy to be back with Joe Root on 99. Here's the first ball after lunch. Is this going to be a century? No, it's not. The first ball is padded back to mid-off. I'm feeling I'm getting the great spot here, coming straight in after an absence of 9 months, and I've got Joe Root on 99, looking for his 18th Test century, and England are on 206 for 3. And he's going for a little paddle shot. That's going to be it. He's turned it round the corner, and he needs one, and he's got it. Second ball after lunch. There it is for Joe Root, his 18th Test century. Takes off his helmet, the cherub, as Hendo was calling him, the Colonel earlier.
What a severe haircut. That's what he's sporting there.
20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
7 boundaries in that innings. It's his 18th, as we say, and one of his best. Where would you put that, Tony, in his history of centuries?
Ooh, well, I mean, he's got that extraordinary 254, hasn't he? He's always great, and he made his debut Test century on his home ground, which to him, if not to the rest of us, must, I would imagine, be special. I mean, what a place to get your first Test ton, on your own home ground.
Do you think this has been easy pickings for him?
Not entirely.
Here's Lawrence.
Just hold that.
Yeah, Lawrence facing up and drives that to extra cover, and there's no run.
I wouldn't say it's been his hardest. But certainly Embledoni has asked a few questions of him, and he's steadied a ship that started off a little bit rockily, losing both openers, of course.
Pereira bowls to Lawrence, who pushes that down to a long on for a single.
But certainly I would say this pitch doesn't seem to be showing too many demons, and you'd hope, if you were England, that a big first innings lead and a bat once game could well be on the cards.
And indeed, here's Pereira bowls, and Lawrence pads up outside the off stump. Root pads up outside the off stump, and there's no run. We're going to have some jingles.
His voice is high-pitched and ginger hair like a pick, but massive runs he has hit, so there's that. Introduce yourself.
Pereira bowls, and that's another paddle shot from Root. They're looking for 2 here. It's a chase for the fielder. And they're going to come back for 2. So Root goes on to 102. At the other end, Lawrence is on 41 in his first Test match. What do you think of Mr. Lawrence? We'll have a jingle for him first.
What time is it? Dan time. Yo, I'm Dan Lawrence, new to the scene. I can open up the bat and I'll come down the green. Those pace bowlers don't want it with me, cause our bat is a bat for a century.
Yeah, Hendo was saying before lunch that he thought that Lawrence taken really well to Test cricket. Is that your view as well?
I
Very
think
much so.
I want to be very careful here because I don't want to jinx him. But
No.
he's looking very solid at the moment, isn't he?
He is man from Whips Cross, your neck of the woods.
Yeah, just up the road here.
Right.
I'll tell you who. I don't know if he's be listening to us at the moment, but the Grumbler will be a big watcher of Dan Lawrence, being a man of Essex.
That's not a reference to. That's not an term of endearment for Hendo.
No, I realise it could be, of course. But
El Bondinia bowls, and that's pushed out by Lawrence for a single. He goes on to 42.
Guys, what do you think? Is this a good way to start your Test career? Not dismissing Sri Lanka at all, but rather than him coming out and having to face Australia or India in his first Test match.
Mark Ramp. I was thinking that Mark Ramprakash, with all the things that he had to face during his Test career. We seem to be up against the West Indies quicks. This is a relatively gentle introduction, isn't it?
and then they look back on his career and go, he never quite fulfilled it. But as you say, my mental image is him ducking under a steepling bouncer from what at the time, of course, was a terrific West Indies side.
Root plays reverse sweep, a pretty ugly looking one. There's an inside edge on that. That's Sri Lankans are pretty confident about that. Are they going to review this? Yes, they're going. They have gone for a review. It was a pretty ugly shot from Joe Root. It would be wouldn't be the most gracious way to be defeated, to be dismissed, I should say. But what do you think about that? Any edge on that?
I didn't see it. It wasn't immediately there for it'd be a big disappointment. I always find it extremely disappointing if someone gets to a landmark and then gets out immediately. You just sense that they've missed out on somehow, even though they've made the landmark they were after. We'll have a look now. Bottom edge onto foot. I thought he played it big bottom edge onto his. I saw a big puff of dust. I thought
Certainly
the ball
a great
was played into the
one-handed
ground.
catch there by Mendes.
It was.
I think that's out.
We'll have another
So it was a reverse sweep, bottom edge,
They played it
into
down
the
into the
ground.
ground.
Into the ground. Yeah, we live to fight another day. He's going to get a single for his trouble. No doubt about that. I don't know.
It was the puff of dust that gave it away, which is what I thought I saw the first time. I was actually quite surprised by all the excitement. And then once you've seen them review and they start playing the replays, you start to doubt yourself. But initially, I just didn't think there was anything to talk about.
Yeah, but it came back off his pad, off the floor. Off his glove. It's gone onto the floor and then onto his glove.
Yeah, but he hit it into the ground first.
Yeah, but he hit it into the ground, then it's come off the ground onto his glove. Is that then not? I don't know.
He played it into the ground.
Yeah, he played it into the ground. It's come off. Then it's come up and it's hit his glove.
But if it hits the ground, it doesn't matter. He's played it into the ground. That's like a bump ball.
Yeah, I suppose, but it's a double hit as well, isn't it? Because it's actually come off his glove too. So
it's come off his glove last.
That's a more interesting one. But a double hit that is completely inadvertent.
No,
here we
go.
Yeah. What's surely not out? Yes.
Not out.
Mr. Paligaruga.
Oh, Mickey Arthur doesn't like that.
Mickey Arthur's one of his nads is going to pop out of those shorts, isn't it? Is all going against him, but I really don't know what he thought he saw.
Well, it hit his glove last.
Well, it hit his glove last when it came off his pad. So are they saying that the ball is essentially the shot is into the ground, and then sorry, I'm speaking. I'm not on camera, but are they saying it's the act of it coming off his glove is after the shot, and therefore it doesn't count? It seems a bit weird because it's like a double hit, as I said. Anyway,
well, we've survived. It's not out, so
it's not out, but Mickey Arthur's nads might be.
Yeah, Mickey Arthur certainly not happy about that decision. Both hands imploring an imaginary referee to do something about it. There's no one to listen to him. The eye bowls to Root, and I was thinking about that. There's no run there. I was thinking about that 12th man sketch where Richie Beno is rehearsing the names of Sri Lankan players, and this is a tough one for me to get going on. El Budinya, and that's paddle swept again. Root not learning from his previous things, because gone for the same shot again. This time he goes around the corner for no run.
Sounds a bit like a magical kingdom in a children's book.
He's taken all 3 wickets to fall, including the one to fall today of Bairstow for 67. It's the 1 wicket to fall. England 211 for 3 in response to Sri Lanka's 135 all out, so they lead by 76. Here's Elvin Dignard bowls, and that's pushed forward. There's good understanding between the two batsmen there as they get a short and quick single, taking route to 103. And the other end, Lawrence is on 42. Mickey Arthur has come down for a word with the ref or the third umpire. He's come out of his dressing room area. He's gone down the steps to have a word with one of the match officials. He's not liking it. Shorts straining at the leash as he walks back up.
Well, that's a really.
stairs.
If it was for, as the Bear was suggesting, and I'm not saying he'd be wrong, it was effectively a double hit, utterly inadvertent, with a ball that he legitimately played into the ground. Surely it becomes dead. Well, no, I guess yeah.
I'd have thought so. That one just climbs a little bit on Lawrence, who pushes it onto the leg side. That's the end of the over. England 212 for 3 with Root on 103 and Lawrence on 42. Nestles.
Well, let's see what the Twitter sphere think. Nakapandi says, well done everyone for proving that accidentally on-air chat doesn't have to be appallingly crass. He was talking about us earlier.
Thank goodness you caught us at a good moment then.
Yes. Bloody hell, another Aussie on commentary, says Jersey Oak. Quite sure
who's that?
Surely not.
Not
Never
Dave.
been mistaken for an Aussie before.
Mog says, nah, he's stuffed. Drop route. Nigel Henderson has joined us. He says, what sort of batsman reduces his number of 50s? He's only got 49 now. He's rubbish. And Mr. Jess says, how the fuck was that not out? It went from his glove to the fielder.
Via the ground.
Right, which one of us is going to get the MCC? I know whoever writes the rules these days. Pereira to bolt to start the new over to a Root, who plays this one out onto the leg side. There's no one at mid-wicket, so they're easy single to the man at deep mid-wicket. So Root goes on to 104 there. Replays are showing again, so that was the reverse sweep from Root. It went into the ground and then bounced up, hit the glove and onto the fielder who caught it one-handed.
Mickey's not having it.
Mickey's still not happy there, and he's now thrown that sort of Lanka style, throwing the bottle of water onto the ground. Is he going to kick the bin? Is he going to kick the bin as well? Another reverse sweep from this time from Lawrence, goes straight to cover for no run. Lawrence on 42. There's a lot of discussion on the field about it too. Obviously the players being wound up by Mickey Arthur, who's remonstrating. Lawrence is studiously behind this next ball, and there's no run.
Well,
here you go. So look, here's this.
Right.
How I can't I'll just move this to one side of my screen so I know
Right,
what's
Tony's
actually
going to be
happening
back with the rules in a
on the
moment.
screen.
It's
I will
Pereira
tell you, yeah.
bowls, Lawrence covers up, there's no run.
But what I can tell you is it seems to bear out what I thought was a common sense interpretation anyway that I'd been saying. Let's wait until after this ball.
As Lawrence it is who waits for Pereira, and it gets a bit of purchase from that. It spits out the surface. Lawrence takes a hand off. No run.
Do you know what? There's one ball left of this over.
Yeah.
Let's give it the justice it deserves.
Suspense is killing me. Tony's got the rule book out, and is Mickey Arthur going to be vindicated? That's what we want to know. Last ball of the over coming up from Pereira has been a tad disappointing with his bowling today, and that's played studiously out by Lawrence. No run. England 213 for 3. Tony.
Yeah, that's Hendo is saying the same as me. So, if a batsman hits the ball or touches the ball at all with his bat or a hand stroke glove holding the bat, then the batsman can be caught out. This is done by the fielders, wicketkeeper or bowler catching the ball on the full brackets before it bounces. It bounced into the ground off the bat,
right,
rendering all subsequent actions, unless it had hit the stumps or he'd made a deliberate attempt to kick it away, irrelevant.
Absolutely, or as Hendo put it, for goodness sake, the ball is dead. from a catching point of view after being hit into the ground. Mickey Arthur, learn the rules.
Well, more worryingly, I think those shorts are a bit too tight because something's constricting the blood flow to his brain.
This new over. Root pushes the first ball out for no run. Yeah, it's strange that the man in charge should know better. He's winding up his players for no reason. This ball given a bit more air, and Root plays that into extra cover, and there's no run. 213 for 3. England now leading by 78. So much to do about nothing. Mickey Arthur. Elbin Dinya again. Root plays that one into extra cover. There's no run there. It's well fielded.
Great entertainment though, Dave.
What was the song? Oh, Mickey, what a pity you don't understand.
Oh, Tony
Vaguely,
Babbitt.
Yes.
Be vaguely relevant, wouldn't it? For the
That
would
is really
be relevant,
strange. It's really strange you bring that up because earlier there's a video going around. She's 74 years old of her doing a load of dancing.
This one just pitches outside the leg stump, and this time Lawrence does put his Root plays it out into the leg side, no run.
No, check it out. It's incredible.
Right.
You know, 74 going on 34 by the look of the video.
Right. We will check that out. This one is swept by Root round the corner. It's well fielded. Man at short fine leg, and there is no run.
A woman who danced with Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra and James Brown, no less.
Does she feel good? Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's an astonishing video. It really is.
And Mickey Arthur's in this video. And that's played by
Just one of his nuts.
that's going to take a single there for Root, going down to just behind point, and Root takes a single. That's the end of the over. He's on 105. Lawrence is on 42, and England are 214 for 3.
Well, I think there's some messages was contradicting you, Bish, but I think we've now covered it, and Root is still there, isn't he?
He is indeed. Ground. I know you were chatting just before lunch about the cricket grounds that are so near to the sea. Does it impact? I know Ravi was asking that question, and Hove was brought up, and of course Hove is known for a ground that the ball did swing quite a lot. So
thieving seagulls.
Yeah. Then the old sea fret occasionally influenced the conditions. No sign of the sea fret here today yet, as Pereira bowls to Root, who sweeps that down to long leg, and they go through, just walk through for a single.
Famous comic tale of Tim Murtaugh's banana.
Tim Murtaugh's banana.
Tim Murtaugh's banana. Boundary edge. Peels his banana, as bowlers often do, bit of sustenance during the game. Huge seagull just swooped and took it out of his hand. I've been there for a fret as well, when you couldn't even see the ball.
Well, indeed. This next ball from Pereira is played down by Lawrence to the short mid wicket, and there's no run again. So Lawrence on 42. Yeah, he's had a really reasonably gentle introduction, but he, as Hendo was saying earlier, he has looked hasn't been intimidated or overawed by the experience playing Test cricket. He's looked pretty confident. Plays that one down on the leg side, taking his opportunity. You can only score against the team that you're up against. He's on 42. But a bit disappointing from the Sri Lankans, especially Pereira. I thought hasn't really looked, considering he took so many wickets in the last series. That one's out, played out to deep mid wicket for a single. Because was it 22 wickets Pereira took it in the last time these two teams played, and he hasn't looked any threat at all. I mean, in fact, he's been out bowled, hasn't he, by
Embledenia.
Embledenia. Thank you. It's easy for you to say, Tony. Really having a problem with that still. And here's Pereira. That's trying to prove me wrong. Oh, that one does turn. Hits the pad of Root. Let's look for the umpire's decision here. It is indeed a leg bye, and score goes up to 217 for 3. But now he just hasn't looked too threatening, Pereira.
No. I mean, let's go back to Lawrence for a second. Don't forget, he's a couple of championship medals to his name. He was Young Cricketer of the Year in 2017, I think.
Yep, Pereira bowls to him now, and again, just he's quite very much a leg side player, isn't he? Leg side Larry, I believe he's known. and that goes out onto mid-wicket. They get a quickly run single. He moves on to 44. It's 218 for 3 at the end of that over.
They said that about Sibley, of course, as well, which is still slightly true, but I think he got himself his first run in Test cricket was a lovely little stroke away to off. So that may be his nickname, but he got himself off the mark in the international game with a nice drive
when you've had a
offside.
gap. When you've had a gap from England haven't played for a while. Obviously, South Africa they didn't play, and there's an anticipation and a build-up when between matches, and you're waiting expectantly, and excitement's building. And I must admit, I was brought right down to earth when I heard the name Dom Sibley taking strike. It just sort of brings you down to earth. And you think, wow, this is what we've been waiting for. But he didn't last long, did he, in the first innings?
No, sadly he didn't. Well, as neither, of course, did Crawley.
Well,
One of the things we were talking about. Sorry, Nestlers.
Yeah, with Ebel Denia's name is if you break it down into its constituent parts of M, Bull, Denia.
Denia. M. Bull Denia.
M. Bull Denia.
M. Bull Denia.
M. Bull Denia. He's bowling now. M. Bull Denia, and that's a single. No, it's not. It's no run. M. Bull Denia. Denia as in southern Spain. Bull as in
Spain.
And M as in Americo Morricone. M. Bull Denia.
You'll get there one day.
Little discussion going on between M. Bull Denia and his skipper. Not quite sure what, and they're not sure if they're going to change the field of results for this, but I mean he's looked good. He bowls from this round the wicket. He's getting natural movement in, and he's been turning it quite a lot as well. So he's the pick of the bowlers so far. As this one, that all does turn away viciously from the bat of Lawrence, and just manages to avoid contact with that. But that really did get some purchase, didn't it?
5 for on his debut, remember, did Embal Denia in South Africa. Got his chance after an injury to Dilruwan Pereira, didn't he? And he certainly took it magnificently. Product of the nondescripts club, which just about every Sri Lankan player seems to be, as far as I can tell from their various bios.
Here he is again, and Lawrence goes for the sweep, makes good contact. There's a chase here for Kuchel Mendes. It's going to go down. He's going to pull it in just before the boundary and going to come back for 2. So he's gone on to 46. Knuckle was telling us all that Herath rates him very highly. Prodigy of Herath. Yeah.
I've got a good suggestion for a T-shirt. Not Gorilla Cricket, it's the dog's bollocks, but Gorilla Cricket, it's Mickey Arthur's nuts.
Yes. Not the sort you'd be passing round at a cocktail party.
Embal Denia. With increasing confidence, I'm saying his name, as Lawrence pushes that one down to deep extra cover boundary, and they go through for a single. He's making smooth progress up to 47 now.
I mean, they're featuring what we're seeing, his footwork to spin, and it has been exemplary. Right from the very first ball, it's almost as though he came in with the one big thing in his head was move your feet.
Move your bloody feet.
Yeah, and he's done it excellently.
No, he has indeed. He has very good footwork. That's been a feature of his game. Root now taking strike. There's still that leg slip, and very, very close gully and slip to him, and he paddles that round to square leg for a single. Partnership of 91, these two. So then of course Johnny Bairstow's innings, something of a return for Johnny Bairstow. He looked like a bit more solid than he was last time we saw him in Test match cricket.
Yeah, and we can all play. I mean, he did rather thrust at that ball that got him in the end, didn't he? The old hard hands problem that we sometimes accuse him of. But yeah, by and large he played very well.
On the back foot goes Lawrence, just demonstrating the footwork that Tony spoke about there, as he goes right back onto his stumps, plays that out to deep extra cover for a single, moves on to 48, Roots on 107. England 223 for 3.
I've got some knuckle stats actually to get through. While that is only Joe Root's third Test ton in his last 33 innings, others are 122 versus West Indies, Lucia, Feb 2019, 226 versus New Zealand. November 2019. It's his 11th 50-plus score. This consistency means that his average at this time is 45.96. He's very consistent.
Absolutely. Terry Blake message to say, why is Mickey Arthur ranting at Joe Root review decision? Doesn't he know the rules? Quite right too, Terry, spot on.
It was quite a confusing moment though, wasn't it? Because we all, I mean, you know, everyone was like, hang on.
Yes, it was a confusing moment. One should look questioning rather than throwing one's toys out the pram, chucking bottles of water around.
Yeah,
screaming at the shorts.
Remonstrating with the fourth official.
He's been straining at his shorts the whole of this test match.
I demand to see the third official. I'm sorry, I'm the fourth official. I demand to see the third.
Actually, changing the subject slightly, I'll tell you what we've been doing since I last saw you, David. We've been working with your county, Sussex.
Oh, yes, I was going to say
closely
congratulations
indeed.
on that. Yes, the wonderful In the Bag initiative.
It's been magnificent. Our followers, fans and friends have been unbelievable. And they're still being that way, by the way. We've not only passed the target, we've now gone beyond it. We're at about 103% of that target. The reason that made me think of that, I know Sussex has their own webinar tonight. I've got a feeling they're going to be discussing us.
Oh, wow, it's a wonderful effort. As you say, it's been a fantastic fundraising effort and a fantastic cause as well.
Indeed.
Pereira to Lawrence, just needs 2 for his half century. That's not going to come there. It's just pushed out for no run. And so you've been all the fundraising for the food bank.
The Sussex, the Brighton and Hove Food Foundation.
Brighton Hove Food Foundation. I was listening to
£3
your interview with Jules. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And that's pushed down by Lawrence to long on. So he moves on to 49. 224 for 3.
I thought they'd put the fan there between his legs to calm him down. Yeah, it's hilarious, isn't it? It's great entertainment.
Yeah, we're seeing a replay of Mickey Arthur's remonstrations. I think this is in real time, but it is the sort of the full teapot followed by the imploring an imaginary referee before actually going to visit the actual referee. The route pushes that down to long on for a single, so it's pretty untroubled progress here. Lots of ones and twos. 225 for 3. Lawrence moves. Lawrence is on 49. He's taking strike now, so he'll be looking for this personal landmark. And can I see him through to that? It comes down the wicket. It's not going to be there. We're going to change at the end of this over. Rob Sutton is going to be on ball by ball. I'm going to pass over to him. Will I see Lawrence through here? 2 balls of this over remaining as Lawrence waits for Pereira. Is this going to be his 50? Yes, it is. He puts it, plays a nice little long drive down to long on. The field should have come in for his 50, but it doesn't. There it is. 50 runs.
50 runs. Your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs. Your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
I think it could have made it a bit more difficult for him rather than just leaving the easy single there. Obviously he was going to look to push a single. Why not bring the field up, Tony?
Probably a trick missed. Could have exerted more pressure.
Not rocket science. And Pereira bowls, and this time Root sweeps that down to deep square leg. He takes a single. He moves on to 109 Root with his 18th Test match century. Lawrence with his maiden 50. 227 for 3. After a word from Tony and Nestles, it'll be Rob to take you through the next session.
Well, I will see you after tea, I believe.
Indeed, and
I can have a kip.
I'm also having a short break. I shall hand you over to the team.
Go well, team.
Thank you, chaps.
But I think I'm staying on with you, Rob. So yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Not sure
long time no see.
Indeed, I was actually just thinking the last time I was on in that half hour, and it was the South Africa tour. So
yes, towards the end of, or towards the beginning of last winter.
year. Yes, we were watching Mark Wood thump South Africa all over the place.
Oh yeah, he got a 50, didn't he? Got a 50.
Yes,
yeah, that's absolutely very enjoyable watching Mark Wood bat. It has to be said.
Yes. So, and we're now watching Dan Lawrence on his test debut to his 50, which is great to see.
Have you seen anything of Dan Lawrence before today, or
only only in T20. I must admit, I haven't seen him play much red ball cricket. But
no, me neither. Yeah,
it was actually his bowling for Essex when they won the Blast a couple of years ago, because the finals day pitch was an absolute raging turner, and he took, I think, 3 wickets in the final with his off spin. Embledenia is going to continue, and Root sweeps this fine. There's a chase on here for the fine leg fielder. Hasaranga is the man, and he's got it. So they get 2 there, I think. They did. So Root's gone to 111. So get your feet off the ground, etc. For Nelson. But yeah, obviously the success Essex have had in 4-day cricket, he's certainly warranted Lawrence's spot. Embledenia bowls, Root goes back and across, just plays this down to slip, and there's no run. Partnership's 98. They're scoring at a decent rate, aren't they, these two?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sri Lanka just cannot seem to stem the flow of runs. As Root defends the next one, they're going to go for a sharply taken single. That's just a little bit too easy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it? If you're not at this stage now, the lead is 95. Can you afford to bring people up? And I suppose you should tempt them to go over the top if they're going to. You've got that amount of turn, haven't you? You've got the turn, so if you can drag them down the wicket to try and go over the top, then probably that's in the long term, it's the best approach. I'm not sure.
It seemed a little easy for Root and Bairstow yesterday at times, as well as, again, it's another single to Lawrence into the leg side, and that's the 100 partnership between these two from 159 balls. And England's lead up to 96, and you've got to say, if they get another 100 lead, that's probably going to be enough, you'd have thought.
Yeah, I said 200 lead would do it, I think. I just think mentally, from the point of view for the Sri Lankans, I don't think they've got at the moment their confidence is so low. I can't see them getting a big score in the second innings.
Well, not a big enough score to set a target to threaten England, as Root sweeps the next delivery down to fine leg. Fielder comes round. I think that's Kusal Pereira down there at fine leg, and I think that's another. I think they've taken 2 there. That's decent running, that is. And Root goes to 114. And he has looked very comfortable, the England captain, has to be said. Famous last words. I'll get my comms curse out the way early doors. Embledenia bowls, and a bit of turn there. Root comes forward, and there's no run. That's the end of the over. 2-3-3 for 3. England lead by 98. Root's jogging off for something. So, Dave, you doing the tweets?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Pardon, Hendo.
It's me, actually, yes. The Beijing Ducks Cricket Club has been in touch. They say, good morning, Gorillas. Been too long. What a way to wake up. Keep up the great work. Much love, the Ducks. Knuckle Punch says, either Rob Sutton 97 has taken up smoking in a big way since he graduated, or his microphone is somewhat suboptimal. A very husky return. Have you been on the cigars? Or
no, this is just me in the morning.
Yeah, probably most of us sound like that in the morning. Diana Patterson says, nice to have Rob back, and hooray for the Essex man, Dan. Indeed.
Yes, it's not been one of my lockdown skills that I've learned, it has to be said.
Now, have you got the final word on how to pronounce the left arm spinner? It sounds like you are pronouncing it very much differently from me, and I was taken to task yesterday. So it's How are you saying it?
I'm going with Embledenia.
Embledenia. Okay.
Yeah, I was given some intuition in this before, Hendo, from both Tony and Nestlers, and they were saying, Embledenia.
Embledenia. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll stick with that until we hear anything different.
Well, that's what Kumar Sangakkara went with yesterday. So I'm
good enough for him.
I'm going to follow Kumar's lead.
Talking of surnames that are difficult to pronounce, Labuschagne. What a player!
Yeah.
What a player, Hendo. I've been dying to know what you think of that. Isn't he? Outstanding batsman.
I think he is. I mean, he was fantastic when he came into the Ashes. When he had to come on when Steve Smith got coned. And And I looked at him before that, and he'd already had a really good season with Glamorgan.
Yes.
He'd hit about 500s at that point. And I thought there must be something to him. And then as soon as he came into Test cricket, we saw him for the first time. He thought, yeah, he's a definite talent. I mean, look at it, the way he's going. I mean, he should have possibly got 100 in the last Test against India. He got 2 good scores, and today he's gone the whole way.
And as you're saying earlier, he's not appreciated that much in Australia themselves. They don't rate him. Yeah, they rate him not highly enough.
Yeah.
Change of bowling. Shanaka is going to have his first bowl of the Test match, and the first one is just a defensive shot from Lawrence, and it's no run. I think it's quite ironic that the second division of the county championship has finally produced a top 3 batsman, but unfortunately it's for Australia, not England.
Yes. Damn it! There's a flaw in our plan.
Yeah, it just looks the complete player, and got to be next Australian captain.
You would imagine so. It's Lawrence turns the next one from Shanaka away into the leg side.
Do you think that perhaps Smith was in with a chance of getting it back?
Ah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you think it was until
I can't believe
until what happened the other day?
Yeah. I think I was saying to someone during the Boxing Day Test that I thought Smith would be in charge for the Ashes until everything happened with in the last game. As Lawrence faces up to Shanaka's, what do we call that? Medium pace, fast medium, 75.
I'd say
miles an
superior
hour.
dob. Superior dob.
Yeah.
I watched a bit of him bowling in South Africa, and he ended up having to bowl quite a bit because so many people were getting injured. And he gets the ball just to nibble a little bit. I think he's quite useful cricketer.
He is, yeah. But this definitely seems like a stopgap at the moment.
It does. I mean,
to
you
fill
wonder
some overs before the new ball.
Yeah, you do wonder why perhaps he wasn't bowling a little earlier. There was none of the spinners apart from Embledenia have. I can't even say his name. Do it again. Tell me again. Help me again.
Embledenia
is the only spinner to have got wickets. He's the only bowler to have got wickets.
Lawrence comes forward to the next delivery from Shanaka, and there's no run. This is the 70th over of the innings, so Shanaka might well get through 5 here.
Yeah, probably will. Leah says Rob should definitely spend the next month's worth of early morning hours to record a selection of songs in the vein of Tom Waits, I believe. Yeah, he could have another whole career going there.
That's an excellent idea. It's just the Sutton tapes, you could call it, or something like that. Here's Shanaka bowls to Lawrence, and hello, that was driven back to the bowler, who then hurled it back. Lawrence had to duck out the way, and it goes through to the keeper, Dick Waller.
Mog says, I'm in Australia and I don't rate him. That's about Labuschagne. He also says, I recall some talk about Pat Cummins being a potential next captain, but I don't remember I heard that from a credible source or someone like Mark Waugh.
Yeah. You've got a downer on Kerry O'Keefe here earlier, Hendo.
Oh, Kerry O'Keefe drives me crazy. I mean, I don't know what it is. He just sounds like a man from the Australian Rotary Club. It just does my head in.
Lawrence defends the last ball of the over, and I think that was a maiden. We haven't had many of those today.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Rob. There was a graphic, I think it must have been in the first session, where they had gone 160 balls without bowling a maiden. That's the best part of 25 overs, something like that.
We haven't had many maidens. We also haven't had that many boundaries. It just seems to be too easy, doesn't it? Pushing them around the singles and two. Do you not think though, when a player's on 49 looking for his first Test match 50, don't you bring the field up? Wouldn't you do that in a club game? So why not do it in a Test match?
I just think their brains are scrambled in Sri Lanka at the moment. They're just so low on confidence. Chandimal has already been captain. He's brought back at the last minute to be captain in this game because of the absence of Karunaratne. Maybe just not the most natural of captains.
The more we see of Mickey Arthur losing his rag, the more he is turning into Eddie Jones, the England rugby coach.
Yes, I think that's a good point.
It is very similar levels of getting angry over very little.
Yeah, and what with the shorts as well. I mean, I don't want to see Eddie Jones in those sort of shorts either.
No, that is one of the blessings of rugby being a winter sport. As Hasaranga is going to bowl, and Root lets this one go outside the off stump. Eddie Jones broke a camera during the autumn internationals that was sort of perched on his sort of box that they have at Twickenham, and he smashed that in frustration. As Hasaranga bowls, that kept a bit low. Root turns it away to leg, and they get 1. Root to 115, I think. Yes, 115.
How many teams has Mickey Arthur been in charge of now? Is he looking for the whole set? He's going
pretty much every one, hasn't he? He must have been
playing a form of Trivial Pursuits, collecting these triangles.
He must have thought yesterday, having left Pakistan for this,
Yes, he's just found himself in even deeper water, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But did some good things for Pakistan in the end, particularly when they won the Champs Trophy a few years ago.
Yep.
As Hasaranga bowls and Lawrence comes forward. I quite like what I've seen from Hasaranga. Looks.
Do you? I don't. I watched a bit of him during the South Africa series, and I thought he bowled too short.
It is a bit all over the place, but you do get that with leggies sometimes.
Yes, true.
As Lawrence comes forward to this next delivery, and there's no run. I've got a couple of them around the bat.
If I had a Yorkshire accent, this is where I'd come in and say he's still learning his trade.
Yeah, still getting 2 bad balls and over.
Yes,
something like that. Yes.
He'll have 1 bad ball by the end of this series. As Lawrence lets this one go outside the off stump.
I think it is right. The bear disagreed with me, but I thought his googly was quite well disguised. The bear reckoned that he threw his arm out a little bit further, a little bit wider when he was bowling the googly. Certainly getting it to turn, but then this is a pitch that you can get quite a bit of turn out of.
Absolutely. I think one of the birds has come across Lawrence's eyesight there. He pulled away. I do find it funny how many delays you get with no crowd. This test has been excellent for that in this test match. It happened when England hosted games in the summer. That was a bit fuller from Hasaranga, a whip from Lawrence, but it goes straight to a fielder, and that's the end of the over.
Yeah, the Bears always been pretty good at picking the googlies, and he did point out before when I was criticising Mendes that, of course, when Mendes had that success in the last England series, there were many more left-handers in the England lineup.
Mendes?
Yeah, do you remember? Sorry, Pereira. When Pereira had that success, because I was criticising Pereira, and the Bear pointed out that when he had that success against England last time, it was because we had a lot more left-handers in the team.
That was a very left-handed dominated England team, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who was in it. Who was in that left hand? Who were the left-handers?
Jennings.
Jennings, of course. Yeah. Stokes, presumably.
Oh, that was a no ball. Last ball of the over was a no ball. They've obviously checked with the third umpire. So England's lead is now up to exactly 100, and there'll be 1 more delivery for Lawrence to face. I very nearly said there was going to be a free hit there, which says how much T20 I've been watching. And it's just yes, it was prodigious turn there, and Lawrence doesn't want anything to do with it, and it is now the end of the over at 2-3-5 for 3.
Well, you know that the Bear, if he had his way, would have 3 hits in Test cricket now for no balls, and I can't believe it. A purist, a traditionalist like the Bear would go for something like that. I'm totally shocked. Roger McCann has been in touch more, I think, with Knackle than us to point out that 100 scored by Root, 50 scored by Root, was at Hamilton, not Mount Manganui. Senor Brain Damage is with us. He says, to be fair, Marnus has been dropped in every innings. India exposed some flaws. Yeah, I think perhaps he's not looked as absolute best. But he's still getting runs, which is pretty good. I did hear someone say that they thought he'd been dropped 10 times in this series, which is quite a lot, isn't it? It's pretty much 1 time per innings. And while you expect, if you're going to score big runs, that you will be dropped from time to time, that is quite a number, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, the longer you bat, the more times that's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a new over from Shanaka. Bowling to Root, comes forward in defence. It's a very Root defensive shot, that, because he walked forward a couple of paces and then just prodded it back to the bowler.
I realise I waited 9 months to come out with that banal remark, Hendo. I enjoyed your IPL coverage, Hendo. You seem to be getting into it a bit.
Definitely, and funnily enough, I think I was saying to Knackle the other day, or on the WhatsApp group, that I'll come back after this ball. Yeah.
And it's Shanaka bowling to Root, comes across his stumps, flicks this away down to fine leg, chases on for the fielder, who will get it. I think that is Ebel Denia down there at fine leg, and they get 2. Root goes to 170.
Yeah, I was watching the India-Australia game the other day, and I was finding when you got sort of matchups between particular bowlers and batsmen, I was thinking, rather than how during the IPL I'm trying to think who plays for which country, I was actually beginning to think who plays for which franchise. And I was finding it rather disconcerting.
Slippery slope.
Thinking in that way, yes.
Yes, I thought the IPL was an excellent tournament this year. Although it doesn't half drag on, but
yeah,
we all know why.
Well, it's just something to do with Mammon, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah. There's Shanaka bowls to Root, across his stumps again, turns this to leg. It's going to go to square leg, and it's a very easy agreed single there. I think for all concerned, the fielders as well, quite happy to give Root the single, and I think they'll bowl at Lawrence here.
Yep, Old Fart at Play, which is a great Twitter handle, says Smith probably was going to be captain again, but not so sure now after he was snuffling for truffles on the crease.
Snuffling for truffles.
And David Midgley says, does anyone have a YouTube link to the contested catch? It wasn't contested, it's not out. It's as simple as that.
Shanaka bowls to Lawrence. It's turned down the ground, and there's no run to the Essex man. It feels like this catch debate is one of the ones, sort of like a football debate over VAR, when it's the rules clearly say what the decision is, and they've made that decision. But we're gonna get angry about it because we've got nothing else to do with our day.
How can you hit the ball into the ground, the ball then bounce up, hit your hand, and be caught? Because there's not a continuum of ball to bat to catch, if you see what I mean.
Shanaka bowls to Lawrence, who cuts this away. That's a nice shot from Dan Lawrence. So I think this is going to run away to the fence for 4. It is a nice shot from Lawrence, and he goes to 55.
1, 2, 3, 4.
First boundary since the resumption.
Is it really?
Yes, I think it is. Yes. Well, there weren't that many boundaries when England batted yesterday either. It's been that sort of test match so far.
Well, I think in a strange way, Sri Lanka showed England how not to bat on this pitch.
Yes.
And England have said, thanks very much, that's what we'll do.
It was almost as if Sri Lanka were the touring team. As Lawrence defends the last ball as Shanaka's over. So it's 242 for 3, and England's lead is 107.
It would seem a bit more like a touring team, wouldn't it? With the bubble and restrictions and all that, they probably haven't been able to resume a normal home life.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, the man I feel most sorry for probably someone like Jack Leach, who's been he's been ill twice with quite serious illnesses. He's been in the bubble all summer and not played a game. I mean, if anyone was going to go completely mad, it would be Jack Leach, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's another thing about the IPL. People were talking about the bubble. I think Quinton de Kock is another man who's come out and said, the bubble is quite hard. But I think it's got to be harder for those guys who aren't playing, hasn't it? So you've got someone like Tom Banton, who pulled out of the BBL, having been in the IPL bubble. But I think he only played 3 matches in the IPL. So you can imagine he's gone to that for the first time, I think it was. Was it the second? I think it was the first time. And, he's been in the bubble, but he's not actually played either. So he's had no escape, in a way.
That's a lovely sweep shot from Root to start the next over, and that has gone into the deep square leg boundary for another 4. So they're coming in batches. Nice shot, that. Bad ball, has to be said.
Nicely picked up by Root,
Too full, and swept away to the vacant deep square leg boundary.
It's fair to say the sweep shot has been much in evidence today.
Yeah, I mean the best of the lot was surely that Dan Lawrence shot, which was a slog sweep. That was an amazing,
it was a wonderful shot.
Glorious, wasn't it?
Held the pose as well.
Oh, the pose was probably the best part of it, actually.
To hold the pose on your Test match debut. That's just
confidence. That's cockiness, isn't it?
Yeah. as Root goes back and just drops this one into the offside. There's a diving stop from the man at point, and there's no run.
Quite a nice little Twitter exchange going on. Martin Lawrence is involved in it. George DeBell says, if only Sri Lanka's players could show the resistance of Mickey Arthur's shorts.
Root comes forward to the next delivery and there's no run.
to which Annie Che replies, those thighs are something else. And Martin Lawrence says, I keep hearing about this from your guerrilla cricket colleagues. Can someone show me if possible? So if we can get a picture of the thong-like shorts that Mickey Arthur is wearing, send them to Martin Lawrence so he can he's probably got a horrible vision. I think the reality is worse than the vision.
Yeah, no up-shorting, please.
Root let the next delivery go outside the off stump. I just hope they don't shrink in the wash throughout the series. We will be in trouble for the second test.
Indeed.
As Asaranka bowls and Root goes back and just drops us into the offside again. It's a very comfortable single, and Sri Lanka just cannot contain the singles at the moment.
I think we were the first to notice yesterday that one of Mickey Arthur's gonads may escape into the wild at any point. They're just crying for release. They're crying for release.
They will have a Twitter account within the hour.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, we know we've got some gorillas out there who like making up new accounts. So I think I'm expecting to see Mickey Arthur's gonads very soon.
Hope springs eternal, Hendo.
It's that sort of reason exactly why Sky bought the rights to this series, as Lawrence pulls this away into the leg side, and they'll get another single out to the man who was sort of a deep mid-wicket. That was Angelo Matthews out there on the boundary. So 6 off that over, and the lead up to 113. 7 overs until the new ball. You would imagine Sri Lanka are going to take it at the first opportunity.
Yes, indeed. Grand Theft Auto says, which is Chris Charlie Paul with a new name, says, morning all. Meanwhile, in Australia, Indians' second 11 have been competitive. Yes, they have indeed, although that little stand at the end from Tim Payne and Cameron Green was a little bit irritating, if you enjoy seeing Australia lose. Chris the Choir says, I finally identify Rob sound-alike. It's Rufus Hound. Keep waiting for the jokes.
I saw Rufus Hound in a production of One Man Two Governors. It was very good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not because Rufus Hound is. I'm not casting aspersions on Rufus Hound. I saw one. What's it called again?
One Man Two Governors.
One Man Two Governors. I saw a version of it at Wimbledon Theatre about 3 years ago, and I had to leave halfway through. It was I thought it was that bad.
I quite enjoyed it.
You like it?
I liked it. Yeah. There was a version with it with James Corden that wasn't as good. But that might be because it had James Corden in it.
Yeah.
I saw the guy who used to play Barry in EastEnders played that part in the one that I saw.
Shanaka bowls, Lawrence goes down the ground. They thought about going for a quick single there, but wisely went against it. Now, the Barry from EastEnders, I think there is a famous YouTube clip of him singing at, I think it's the World Bowls Championship. And Barry from EastEnders comes on and does sort of like halftime entertainment.
Oh, right. What's it? It's Shane somebody, isn't it? Or Sean somebody. Is it Williams or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's Bowles. I can't remember exact. Someone out there, I'm sure, will know. There's Shanaka bowls and Lawrence comes forward and there's no run. And it went viral, sort of, I think it was a couple of years ago now. He did a song at I think half time or whatever the bowls equivalent is.
I found it already. I'll tweet it out. Let me find it. It'll probably make a noise in a minute from my computer. But it's on the BBC. It went on to the BBC. They've got it. Blimey.
Shanaka bowls to Lawrence. Oh, that was an impressive looking drive from Lawrence, but it went straight to a fielder and there's no run. Deserved more for that shot.
Yeah, very nice indeed, wasn't it? Sumptuous.
Shout out to my brother Peter listening in Portsmouth. Also Terry's been in touch to say who's going to make way. Dan Lawrence now looking assured. Who's going to make way for him when Stokes and et al. Return to the team?
Well, Bairstow, I suppose, at this stage, you would have to say.
Yes, I would suggest Bairstow would be the favourite. This is a bit uppish from Lawrence, but he gets it through the infield. There's a chase on for the fielder, who is Tiramani, and they get back for 2.
I just have to bring you news. Martin Lawrence has obviously been sent a picture because he says, "Oh my gosh, I see what you mean." Crack de Bear has been on. He says, if Mickey Arthur's Gonads tries to move in on our parody tweet space of Hendo Stone and various other things like that, and it's just gone off my screen, I'll be extremely put out, as are they, to be honest.
England's 250 came up with that 2, by the way, and there is some adjustment to the field. I think that's why we got a bit of a lull. Just put a few more men on the field, I think, is probably what Shanika's after.
Lord Yammer says Mickey's Gonard account will be in good company with Beefy Schlong. Let's not go back to Beefy Schlong.
No.
I didn't realise there was a Twitter account, Beefy's Mighty Weapon. It's not something I need to be aware of.
I think that fan is strategically directed at Mickey Arthur's pressure point.
Yes.
Now, just
pressure points.
Just noticed the Sri Lankans have put. Was that a flag there before, out on their balcony? Because they did that once before when they weren't happy with the decision.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They put their flag sort of on the balcony. It might have been at Lord's actually, as Lawrence picks up another 2 with a flick to the leg side. I think they weren't happy with a couple of umpiring decisions.
Well, I understand. I mean, a couple of LBWs against Root, which were perilously close. But I mean, there's no doubt that the catch was not a catch. It's just not out.
Yeah.
And Mickey Arthur should know that as well as anyone.
Yeah. It's definitely got the vibes of a football manager who is looking for anything to blame but his own team.
Yes.
As Lawrence drives down the ground and there's no run. We've had a few of those at Leicester in our time, I must say.
Well, I suppose it's probably even worse in cricket than it is in football, isn't it? I mean, because at least that's intense and it's over in a couple of hours. Whereas you suffer as a coach and there's nothing you can do about it for 8 hours a day. It's a horrible thing to be an unsuccessful cricket coach.
You've got to be as laid back as Phil Simmons not to care.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's 2-5-2 for 3. We've had 74 overs. Root's 1, 2, 3, and Lawrence 60. So it's been serene, I think. I would describe England's progress since lunch.
And you referred to Simon Doull and Oa Shah earlier on today. Are they are they present at the ground?
They must be. There is a
host,
an official commentary service there, but Sky aren't taking it. But every now and again, you'll see it come up on the screen.
Right.
Yeah. Mark Butcher is out there doing it, I think.
Right.
I think Simon Doull stayed from the Lankan Premier League. I think that's why he's there.
Ah, right. Good point. Yeah.
Root comes forward to the first ball of the next over, and there's no run. There were some interesting, let's put it that way, games in that particular tournament, the Lankan Premier League.
I watched 3 or 4 games, not more than that. That was all I could take.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of games that might need investigating. I think as Root turns the next delivery from Hasaranga away into the leg side, and they take a very easy single. Root almost walked that single.
Yeah, the only thing I enjoyed about the Lanka Premier, or the thing I enjoyed most, was seeing Dick Weller opening with Samit Patel.
Yes,
that to me was like a real box office opening pair. Dick Weller and Patel. I mean, that is worth getting out of your seat, turning your telly on, isn't it?
Samit was right down at number 8 for Notts this year in the T20 Blast, as the next delivery is left alone by Lawrence.
Yeah, that's a terrible waste of a really talented batsman. That is, to my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm still seething. I still think that England could have got more out of him.
I agree.
Ooh, that's dropped.
That might well have gone down as a chance there for. I'm not quite sure. Is it Mendes? Well, that really
absolutely flew at it flew off the edge at a very, very fast rate, It was instinctive reaction from Mendes. Couldn't quite grab onto it.
It went over. I mean, it was the height as well. It was quite high, wasn't it? I mean, he had to sort of reach up for it. It's gone right almost off the back of the bat.
Yeah, it was up sort of quite high for Mendes, but the form he's in, he was never going to catch it anyway. No. So
I mean, he is standing very, very close there, and when it makes so much contact, that was a disadvantage. Yeah.
Root lets the next one from Hasarenka go outside the off stump, and there's no run. They did take a single there. Yeah, it was almost off the back of the bat. Mendes. Actually, as slip catches go off a spinner, it wasn't straightforward, but I think you'd expect him to take that.
I mean, it's just the position he's standing. He's standing such a short gully. If he'd been back a pace, he would have got that.
Root takes a single from the final ball of the over. That is the end of my stint. It's 2-5-5 for 3, and we're going to have a change around. And who's taking over from me?
I believe it's me, Rob.
It's Tony, and I will be back in a bit.
Good to hear from you. It's someone else I can say, like Dave. It's been ages. It's been way too long.
Well, exactly. I was thinking about it. On someone on Hot Mic thinks Rob Sutton sounds like Rob Key. There you go. That's a compliment.
He does a wee bit, doesn't he? Well, as you've heard, that was the voice of the bear, and then sat somewhere in Perth with his eyes, I would imagine, fully on this game, but ever so slightly straying in the general direction of Brisbane. Of course, Messi Jez.
No other wicket has fallen there, has it, Messi?
Hello. No, the game's over for the day in Brisbane.
Oh, right. Okay, that's why.
So we've now got the undivided attention of the
actually, now I think
world.
about it, there's probably a Big Bash game I could watch if I really cared.
You don't really want to watch that rubbish.
There is indeed. There is indeed. Well, 255 for 3 are England. They lead by 120. They're going very nicely, thank you, with captain Joe Root at the crease. He has his ton, and this one he just leans forward and pads back, or bats back to the bowler. There is no run. There is, of course, a new ball due in 4.5 overs, I guess.
Yep, indeed. Here we're looking at that catch. I don't think it's that high, that catch. It's just I think he was that close that, I mean, it wasn't massively over his head. It was
went through both sets of hands, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
hands like that.
As David said, he's really close, basically, for the one that pops up off the edge.
This one is flicked away off his legs around the corner down to long leg. They will take an easy single.
Not one that went so forcefully. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Mickey Arthur's nutsack to appear on Twitter.
I was about to say we've had Harry the Hardidar, we've had Luigi Magpie, we've had others, haven't we? Who else have we had as appeared as?
Crack the Bear says that he and Hendo Stan, the man who goes away, will be pissed off if Mickey Arthur's gonads seeks to move in on their tweet space.
You don't want that, do you? This one is solidly met by the increasingly solid-looking Dan Lawrence.
I certainly won't.
To the manner born.
I certainly don't want Mickey Arthur's nutsack anywhere near Crack the Bear, I'll tell you that.
Oh, clear that is a mental image we really could all have done without.
Mog notes that you just don't hear the word schlong on the less credible commentary outfits, and that's why they fail.
I'm sure. Undoubtedly that's the case. 256 for 3. We're halfway through the 76 over. Shanaka's in. Flicked away around the corner. It's invaded the man who's... what sort of leg gully that position, isn't it, really? And it's away past the square leg umpire. They'll take another single. Wicketless so far for Shanaka. Bowled tidily enough, though, number 13 for him.
Beijing Ducks thinks Mickey Arthur's shorts are worthy of a jingle. I would have thought jingle balls would be appropriate.
Well, didn't the world sadly lose Freddie Garrity recently? Am I right? No, it was Jerry and the... Oh, no, I'm confusing with Jerry.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Freddie Garrity, Freddie and the Dreamers. But didn't they have a song called Who Wears Short Shorts? Which only you would remember, Messrs. No.
I know, I'm only talking to you. For 60 years.
You've been trying to forget it for 60 years. As this one is met nicely on the good full-length ball. Bang on a length well, really. And tidily played away again by Lawrence. Slower one, that only 114 kilometres now. He's been averaging pretty much over 120 most of the time.
It's pretty slow still, 120. It's only like, what, high 70s, 76, 77?
Yeah, I mean, it's gentle, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely very gentle.
So is Dasan Shanaka. I would attempt his full name, but we know that can tend to lead you into big trouble. Madagama Gamaji. Dasan Shanaka. Again, this is pushed away to short mid-wicket.
I'll just stick with Shanaka.
The end of that over by Shanaka.
I noticed
the England lead 122. Messers, what have you got?
Well, I noticed the danger didn't put you off, Tony.
No.
David Midgley says the lead of 200 should be enough. Leah says, what I learned from the LPL, the off-brand Lankan Indians were better this year than the Pakistani off-brand Indians. That's a bit mean. And Mock says, with all this nostalgia over who you've not seen for a while, can we expect Zoob to appear?
The ghost of Zoob. Well, yeah, the ghost of Zoob can pop up when you least expect them. Well, is that considered a haunting, do you think?
Well, yeah, we tried to get him back once or twice, but he steadfastly refused.
Just sort of, do the laptops start to rattle on your desk and the ghost of Zoob suddenly appears? 2 slips in place still, but Lawrence is not troubled by that in the least.
Was that one of your dogs, Messers?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't know what he wants. He can bugger off anyhow.
We should get them on camera. I want to see your dog on camera.
This one does turn from Hasaranga, but slowish turn, easily played again by Lawrence away into the offside. There is no run.
It's just like a hairy hearthrug with a bit of bulk.
Oh, okay.
It just lies there all day.
Are they big dogs or small dogs?
They're Labradoodles, so they're medium-sized Labradoodles.
I think a hairy hearthrug would unlikely to be a small dog. 2 slips again, go down onto the back foot goes Lawrence, steers this beautifully away through cover, but there's a man down there on that deep cover boundary. It'd be just a single. And that is dangerously close, is it not, to a no ball?
It is a no ball.
So I think it is a no ball.
Yeah. Look how low he gets though. I mean, he's a short guy anyway, and his front leg just collapses when he bowls. Not a great deal of pace.
Not recognised yet as such, though, by...
Yeah, no, it was.
We're looking at the previous ball, weren't we? Yeah, we were.
Oh, Phil.
This one a bit more out. Swept by Joe Root. Swept all the way through mid-wicket for one of these.
Yay! Oh.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
I just had my eyelids rested in the last half hour whilst I was being lulled by Dave and Rob and Hendo.
Well, I've been really busy in the last half hour. I've been irrigating my catalpa.
Well, I was just getting angry about the laws of cricket.
Oh, that debate was extraordinary. It seems so commonsensical to me. Forward and met very solidly indeed, and there is no run. Root 130 not out for him of 206. I wouldn't. Was it Root who played it into the ground? Yes, it was. So I wouldn't even call it a let-off.
No, it wasn't a let-off. I just couldn't.
No, it wasn't a let-off.
It wasn't a catch.
It's just in my sleepy state.
That one turns again, and Root has to be a little bit more watchful on that one. Has to get right on top of it. It's the sort of ball that, especially when you've got those 2 slips, waiting to snap all those, that you needed to play it with care. He did. Way into the offside it went. No run.
No, I just didn't know the law.
No run.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure whether it counted as coming off his glove again, whether it counted as a live ball. I just couldn't. In my sleepy state, I couldn't get it. Who's that guy with Ollie Pope and the other guy there batting? It looks like some sort of coach, but I don't recognise him.
No, I'm not sure. That must be the end of the over, though.
Yeah, it must be.
Messes.
So Hawkster has sent us a tweet of the day. Actually, he says all this talk of Mickey Arthur's shorts reminded me of an ill-thought-of score graphic at the Australian Open about 10 years, which shows in the bottom left-hand corner the short names for both the players. One is Gone and the other is Nad. So you got
Mickey Jeetan Patel, I think, is who you're thinking of there.
Right, that's who it is. Yeah, thought I recognised him, but I just couldn't put a
many years at Warwickshire, of course.
Yep.
And doing I think good things.
He's spinning coach, isn't he?
Although, of course, England have gone in with 3 seamers. But there we go.
Mog says, "Good God, Tony, I do remember that short song." Oh dear, once heard, never forgotten.
No, it's a bit of an earworm.
And he's
were Freddie and the Dreamers also from Liverpool? Maybe that's why I was confusing them wrongly, of course, with Jerry and the Pacemakers.
I think they were, but they might have been from Manchester. I think they were from Liverpool.
Everyone was from Liverpool at that time, weren't they? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check that later because it will annoy me if I got it wrong. We can still hear your dogs there, Messrs.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is there a snake or something?
Mog wonders what Hendo's kidney stone is up to these days. Last time I recall, it was travelling the world. And Mog also says Tony using the word commonsensical is an argument about common sense.
Fair enough. It doesn't. It is a bit. Well, it's wrong. So it's either common sense or it's not. Commonsensical.
I'm just going to leave you
for word.
I'm just going to leave you for a couple of seconds and see if I can sort my dog out.
Oh, that's all right. Oh dear, that sounds ominous. I wouldn't want to be the dog.
Maybe there's some crazy wildlife that's got itself into the house and the dog's barking.
You never know.
You never know in Australia. Could be dangerous.
So anyway, Dan, let's talk about Dan Lawrence, Bear. I think you could argue that there would be more testing debuts he could have had.
There will be more testing.
On the other hand, you have to get out there and do it, don't you? And he has.
And he has. And he could get himself a test debut ton, couldn't he? Didn't someone do it? Was it
right from ball 1, which he just leant into and steered away into the offside. He's looked extremely comfortable. I don't want to talk the poor lad out when, he is past his 50. Let's not say he's getting towards a ton, but he's only on 63, I think. What is he in?
Was it Keaton Jennings who got...
Yeah, no, he's on 63.
It was Keaton Jennings who got a test debut ton, wasn't it? Was that against...
that was in India, wasn't it?
It was in India, right. Yeah, that's right. And look where he went, so you never know.
He's...
Harsh.
Yeah. An Emble, didn't you, I have to say. He's been expensive, goodness me, but then look at the number of overs he's bowled compared to everyone else. He seems to be the only one who's looked the more threatening.
Well,
to David Brooke, who can't say his name, but
well, I mean, you were talking about that, and I did put that in the chat. You got to think that side that went over last time. We opened with we had Jennings opening, we had Moeen playing, we had I can't remember who opened in that test with Jennings in that series.
Ooh, do you know what? I can't. Certainly wouldn't have been Bairstow. Alistair, was Cook playing then?
No, he retired by then.
He hadn't retired by that stage, I don't think.
Yeah, he had.
Okay.
Maybe he hadn't, actually.
I'm sure Messers can look it up for us as he's back in station.
Because it was 2 years ago. When did he retire? No, he retired in that summer, didn't
he? When
he?
Keaton Jennings got his ton in India, Messers, we were trying to remember who his opening partner was.
I'm talking about the last series that England played in Sri Lanka, which was when? 2 years ago.
2018.
So, so it probably would have been Alistair Cook still then, wouldn't it? So it would have been Cook and Jennings opening, or Cook and AN other. 3, I can't remember who was 3. Root would have been 4. Stokes would have been 5. Moeen would have been somewhere around there as well. So yeah, I mean, we must have had 4, 5, 6 lefties playing when we last played there. And obviously for Pereira, he's a right arm spinner. He gets the joy of turning it away from the left-hander. So him getting 22 wickets against a bunch of left-handers, I bet he loved it, Yeah. Whereas this side...
He made 146 not out. He opened with Rory Burns.
Rory Burns, there you go. Thank you, Messers. That answers our question. Rory Burns, not on this tour, of course, but he's paternity leave, I think, effectively, isn't he?
Yeah. With Moeen Ali at 3, making 0 and 3 in the 2 innings.
When was it? That was in India, though, wasn't it? I'm thinking of the last tour that England played to Sri Lanka.
No. This is in Galle.
Oh right, okay. So what was the batting lineup from there on in then?
So Burns, Jennings, Ali, Root, Stokes, Butler, Folkes, Curran. Folkes who made 100. Curran, Adil Rashid, Jack Leach, and Jimmy.
So yeah, Jack Leach is lefty. So there's basically only 3 right-handers in that side.
And Lawrence to face, and he's straight onto the back foot and eases this into the offside, and there's no run. Second new ball, remember, available in under 3 overs now.
Whereas in this side, you've got the top 5 have been right-handers. Butler's a right-hander. Who's next? Curran's a lefty. Followed by, who else we got? Bess is a righty, Leach is a lefty, Broad is a lefty, but they're all down the order. So by the time he gets to them, if he gets them out, no worries.
That's true. This one again is very tidily met and guided away to backward point, and a single is taken. 64 for Lawrence. Captain Joe Root on 130.
It was Folkes and Burns' debut, and it's all been downhill since then for Ben Folkes, really, hasn't it?
Well,
considering he scored 100 and...
you want to put your mic near your mouth?
Yeah, I think you might need to do something mic-wise.
Yeah, he made 100 and then 37 in the second innings.
Okay. 264 for 3 here, though, and these two are doing a very fine job indeed, are Root and Lawrence. Root just pushes this ball away straight to mid-wicket. Shanaka none for 14 for him, or 4.5. He's been tidy. Something's tickled Messers.
Yeah, Folkes did something in his very first innings as keeper that Butler has never done.
Stumping? He's done stumping.
He did a stumping, yeah.
Yes. 264 for 3.
I forgot to mention the GPL earlier.
Is in and forward comes Root. Shall I tell you who Shanaka slightly reminds me of?
What if he said no?
No. Then I probably wouldn't bother to tell you.
I want to know.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. A cricketer who used to play for Somerset, an England bowler. There's something about both the run-up and, more importantly, the ears.
What era are you talking?
Well, ears, not era. This one's carved nicely away by Root down to deep point.
We're talking Randy Caddick.
I am talking Andy Caddick, but it would be a cheap jibe simply to go, he's got slightly prominent ears, although he does.
Well, that was the thing that gave it away.
But his run-up, interestingly enough, which is quite sort of straight-backed and stiff, is also slightly reminiscent of Caddick to me, as Shanaka.
I can see that. By the way, I didn't even mention the GPL today, but we have had some entries.
Oh, good.
I forgot to mention Messi. We got it fixed yesterday.
Shanaka in, nicely waited for by Lawrence. Wristy little flick away into the offside. Leg side Larry he may be, but there was a little bit of wrist in that. Very confidently played late. Ball under the eye line, away to backward point. Another single for him.
So Mock's trying to stir a few people up by saying, aren't Manchester and Liverpool basically the same place?
We'll go into a pub on Merseyside and mention that.
Exactly.
We'll say, but I won't be with you.
And likewise,
and Salopian guys says, hey guys, greetings from Japan. Lovely to hear you again after a long old while. Meant to tune in yesterday, to be honest, I forgot.
That's fair enough. GPL,
I like honesty. That's elite honesty.
Well, we get elite honesty. This is Gorilla. Hombre Nuevo 207. Twice Brian has 210. Hombre Nuevo has 267. And I was testing out last night and put a pound in for 555, which is never going to happen, obviously.
You're not allowed to win. Don't we have a rule that says gorillas can't win their own?
Well,
GPL?
I was just trying to test whether it worked. It was the easiest way was to put a ticket in, so I went for a ridiculous number.
It's like going to the raffle, the company raffle, and the chairman's wife wins the main prize. It just shouldn't be allowed. 266 for 3.
I love this tweet from Grand Theft Artoad, who says maybe Lawrence will get a ton on debut in Sri Lanka, then be overlooked for 2 years, known as being folked over.
Indeed, big folks over. Grand Theft Artoad was on our quiz night. Won a prize too, I think. I think he won a Challenge Knackle prize. So a fine man. As this one is cut to backward point. Stopped on the dive. I think they neglected or decided not to run rather than neglected to run. They decided not to run.
Well,
266 for 3.
To be fair, he's going to face stiff competition to get,
this one's full, wristily flicked to mid-on. This time they do take a quick single. Sorry, Bear.
Well, I mean, he's coming here at number 5. He's not going to replace Stokes. I mean, even though Stokes had time out, Stokes is not going to be replaced by Dan Lawrence going into India.
But if he was to score big runs on, in both tests here, he inserts himself very much into the frame, doesn't he? You become hard to ignore if you score
does.
2 big times, no matter who you're playing against.
Well, he does. That's true. I mean, I suppose the place he could take.
The left arm of Embledinha. This is swept. Full face of the bat, sort of lapped around the corner, really. They will take 1. I think they will come back for 2 as well.
I mean,
269 for 3.
I guess Crawley retains his place, doesn't he? Just didn't of what he did last summer, and they don't really want him opening, and they probably want Burns back as opening, which means Burns comes back in, which means Root's not going up to 3, so Crawley probably stays at 3.
Embledinha's around the wicket. He's quite flat-armed, isn't he, Embledinha?
Yeah, he is.
Especially when he pushes those balls through like he did with that one. But it's away into the offside, no run. 269 for 3. 134 at lead. Now, what did Sri Lanka make in the first innings? 135. That one swept from outside of off through mid-wicket. There is going to be a man coming around there, though. And
it's Big Angelo.
Will cut that off, and it will be 2.
Now Pope was at 6 before. Now Dan Lawrence could depose Pope, I suppose.
Overthrow or depose. You've deposed the Pope.
Depose the Pope at 6 if he scores runs here.
Embledinha, interesting little run-up he has. A bit of a sort of a sturry. It's not smooth by any manner of means. Cut to point, no run. 50 miles an hour.
Have to say I'd like to see him in there because it's the first time I've seen him, and I'm very impressed with what I've seen.
He's very composed, isn't he?
He is very composed,
organised.
But again, it's going to be a much stiffer test in India. And do you want to throw him in there when you've got people who you think might be better? I mean, Pope to me looks a better batsman, if I'm honest. It looks a class above to be Pope.
He's only 23. Time's on his side.
It is on his side.
He's got the benefit of a very good background in hard and competitive county cricket.
Yeah.
And he plays like a man that has that. He's done incredibly well for Essex, hence of course his place in the side.
Well, exactly that. But presumably we're going to have to go a 5-man bowling attack in India, in which case Butler's probably going to have to bat a 6. And you're going to have 2 spinners, Bess and Leach, and then you're going to have 3 seamers, of which one you want to probably be an all-rounder, which will be either Wokes or Curran. And then you're going to have Jofra, I imagine, is going to be in the mix as the hard fast man.
Is Stokes not going to be playing in India?
No, Stokes is going to be in India. So Stokes comes back at 5. Oh yeah, so he's a bowling option as well, isn't he? So okay.
Well, while we debate bowling options, there is going to be a bowling change, and it's going to be Dilrowan Pereira back into the attack, who will be bowling from that fort end, the large clock tower of the fort looming behind him.
You bowled you and
badly, no crowd thronging up there, which of course is a huge loss to this event. This one nips back into the right hander, steered around the corner. They do take a single. Lovely gentle breeze is wafting its way across this ground at Galle. Used to be a racetrack, I think, in the 19th century.
Horse racing.
Yeah, it was originally created as a horse racing track.
It's quite a short
colonial sport.
Yeah, colonial sport everywhere, eh? Oh, look at that.
Ah, interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, very nice shot. Reverse swept. And, well, not really swept, reverse dabbed, because it sort of did its way along to what would have been third man. It sort of became long leg, if you like, with the reverse sweep.
And it was another no ball.
And it was a no ball. Now, how can that's a slow bowler who's bowling
quite a few though
breaks commit no balls? That's pretty unforgivable, I think. We're going to have a little look at what Dilrowan Pereira was guilty of there. Yep, he does overstep. He's in this time. That's a more legitimate sweep, but there's a man at just around the corner on the 45. Very short indeed. The fielding position, not the man. And it will mean that there is no run. 275 for 3 for England.
So right, I'm still coming up with my side for India. So if Stokes is at 5,
yes,
then you've got a 1 pace bowling option there. You're probably only going to have another 2 pace bowlers, aren't you? So you probably, I would probably go for Archer in India. A, he's got experience bowling in the IPL. B, you're going to need, the wickets are quite slow anyway, so extreme pace might be it. So that leaves one of Broad and Anderson on the sidelines, plus Curran and Wokes on the sidelines potentially. Moeen comes in as a spinner at 7 or 8. So maybe if you have Moeen, you probably go with Leach as your other spinner, and then Best gets left on the sidelines.
What are they signalling for there? Sorry, Bear.
I don't know what they're doing here. He hit it into the ground. Are they saying they want to catch again?
Well, unless did he hit it off the bat onto his toe? In which case, there's a very large slice of dust. But I think that's the only thing they can be shouting for.
Yeah, it must be.
And once again, it was a very optimistic shout indeed. But
so Nagel says the only way to get Lawrence into the 11 for India is to leave out one of Rory Burns and Dom Sibley. Open with Zach Crawley and bat Lawrence at 3.
Oh, and Pereira, as if to let you finish that point, Mrs. decides not to bowl and wheels around and will have to come back in again. None for 70 off 20 for him.
It's a good problem to have, got to say.
Yeah.
Full moves in, of course, as it would, as a fairly conventional off-break bowler. To the right-hander, turned away, down to deep square leg. Another single taken to 76 for 3. We're halfway through the 79th over. The new ball, should they want it, is just 3 deliveries away.
I imagine they'll take it, whether they're going to carry on with spin or not. You want a harder ball with a prouder seam.
I mean, the turn has been there, but it's not been exactly what you would call, angry, aggressive turn. I mean, that ball definitely moved in to Lawrence, who played it nicely back to the bowler. I mean, there was one ball on the first morning, bowled by Jack Leach, that really ripped away from the right-hander, and we all looked at it and we went, whoa, hello. Yeah. But I don't think we've seen too much that has been what I would call sort of spiteful turn. It's been playable turn, if you like. Predictable. As that one's onto the back foot goes, Lawrence.
When the pitch has been so slow, they've been able to watch it off the pitch and play it as they see it.
Oh, and also the seam would have, worn down on this ball, and then the ball would have been softer. It'd be interesting to see with a new ball what happens.
There's a forward short leg. There's also a leg slip to the right-handed Lawrence, and it goes to the man at forward short leg.
Hendo tells us he hasn't heard from Hendo Stone for a while, and between you and me, he hopes
he's probably quite glad. 270. You could argue that you'd mention him in passing, but maybe best not. 276 for 3. 80 overs are complete. The second new ball is available. Let us watch closely and see if either Mr. Palagaruga or Kumar Dharmasena will be signalling, and indeed they are.
So what you want, actually, don't you? You probably, if you had a double-decker bus out there, you could just drive around the ground on the roundabout all day, couldn't you, and watch the game?
Possibly getting a bit dizzy, but
Leah points out that Cook retired after the series before the last time England toured Sri Lanka.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Martin Lawrence says if Dan Lawrence scores a century on debut every time I mention him in this program, I will refer him as Cousin Dan from now on.
Cousin Dan.
Good on you, Martin.
Sounds like something from the Waltons. It's Cousin Dan. 276 for 3.
Oh, they're taking a new ball. We've got jingle for that. I don't know where it is though.
Why am I here? Didn't we just say that?
I know. I'm just trying to think, where is extras?
Well, we are indeed watching a London bus.
No.
Going past now.
I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
Oh, well, no, wrong one. That's a no ball.
That's a no
Not a new ball.
Selected in play. There it is.
New balls, please.
Been so much T20s. Haven't had to use that for a while, eh?
Makes me think that little jingle, for no better reason than for a plug for a mate. I'll tell you in a moment. As onto the back foot goes Root. Cuts this. Pass backward point. I think it's going to make it all the way to that sponge. It does, and it's one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Goes quicker off the bat.
Yeah, he played that beautifully, angled the bat. Look at that. So absolute study in how to play that particular shot.
Whereas saying "look at that" is not a study in commentary on radio, Tony.
Well, I was about to describe the how he got up onto his toes, just angled his body, angled the bat, timed it to play it from right under the eye line. But you didn't really give me the chance. This one, more conventionally, is cut away straight to cover. I was going to make a plug actually before all that, the sound of that new balls jingle for an Indo's new book, The Story of Indian Tennis. I'm sure the likes of Vijay Amritraj get a good mention. But if you like your tennis as well as your cricket, Gorilla Supremo, Gorilla of Indian cricket knowledge, and Indo, also a big tennis man, has just released his new book of The Story of Indian Tennis. So watch out for that.
And good writing too. That's the other thing. It's lovely to read in India's writing.
Embledenia is back into the attack with the new ball, and this is punched into the onside by Lawrence to mid-wicket. He will take a single. Tell you what Lawrence is not afraid to do. He can bide his time, can't he? I mean, it's 168 or 134 balls. If a ball's been there to hit, he will hit it. But he's very comfortable just pacing his innings. He doesn't look at any point as though he has been hurried. And I know there's no need. This one's pulled by Root. That should make it all the way to the mid-wicket boundary. It does indeed. It's 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Embledenia's arms getting tired. I mean, he's bowled, what, 40, 45 overs or something stupid like that? I mean, he's bowled most of the day, it seems. They certainly he's the man they've gone to.
Yeah, he's their only wicket taker so far, isn't he?
Yep.
But once you get up to, it doesn't matter if you take 8 wickets, if they're for about 160, it somehow just doesn't look quite as good, does it?
Well,
even
8 for 160
all those wickets I got.
Well, 8 for 160 is not too bad. That's an average of 20 per wicket, isn't it?
Well, that's true. Embledenia is in again. Forward comes Root. A dab away to point. And another single brings Lawrence back onto strike. He'll face the last ball of Lasith Embledenia's over. It's only 24, Embledenia. From Colombo.
3 for 110 from his 32 overs.
Yeah, well, that's the...
Still an average of less than 30, well, just over 35 for his wickets so far. Which isn't too bad for a spinner, although you probably want less than that in Sri Lanka.
Not at all. Got that 5 for on debut, as we said. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as it goes. That is a drop.
No, it's not a drop. It wasn't a drop. It was a missed stumping. Potential stumping.
Oh, missed stumping.
He missed it all ends up, did Lawrence, and but it turned quite very, very, very sharply, and it couldn't be taken by the keeper and went over the slip.
Well, if anything, Dick Weller sort of parried it away from first slip because he seemed to push it up into the air, didn't he? So we'll have another look. It certainly turned down the track. Yeah, you're right. He missed it by a mile and practically threw his bat away into the process. And I think Dick Weller had moved well outside of the off stump.
He tipped it with his finger, just over the top of the slip.
It over slip.
That was actually very good bowling though by him, because he saw him coming. He threw it wide, and Lawrence was his trajectory down the track was very straight, and so he had to really stretch to get it. And of course, it turned past the edge of his bat. Or maybe he did get an edge. I don't know.
So we got a few more tweets. Devon Sider says, "I think they'll rotate the team as long as Pope plays in the Ashes." Cricket Podcast says, "I think Pope is far from nailed on." Well, Log says, "I was looking at the 1964 edition of the Australian Coaching Manual the other day, and the fielding guide failed to mention the 45 and no cow corner either."
Swept down to long leg by Root, gets a single, brings Lawrence back on to strike. Is cow corner an international phrase, though? I mean, certainly, if you look at fielding position maps here, it appears, but it somehow feels uniquely English or British.
Yes, I think it's just sort of gradually come into the lexicon elsewhere.
Pereira in onto the back foot goes Lawrence. Dabs it to the man at forward short leg, no run. 290 for 3, 155 now that lead. That's 20 more than Sri Lanka managed in their first innings. This is looking to be, I won't say in dominable position yet, but oh my word, that turned in there.
Wow.
And we need to do a change in a moment. We
need a change
overtime. So at the end of this over, we will definitely let that happen. Thank you, Hendo, for the producer's note. Gripped we were by the cricket. Oh, that turned, didn't it?
Yeah, you see the new ball is taking chunks out of the track.
It is, as this one, as if a lesson learnt by Lawrence. He pushes into the onside, there's no run. 155 the lead, 290 for 3. Joe Root, 1 run south of yet another landmark. He's on 149, 150 looms. There's a slip, forward short leg. Lawrence stands tall, plays this solidly in front of his off stump. And after this ball, we will most definitely have a switcheroo. I'm not sure who's on next, but I'm sure we'll find out.
It's me and
played solidly by Lawrence. End of the over, 290 for 3. That's me for now, and I shall see you all a little bit later.
Me too. I'll hand over, and the next tweet is from Michael Wagner in New Zealand. For you, Rob.
It's Rob. All right, Rob.
Hello again.
How are you, mate?
It's Husky Rob.
It's Husky Rob.
It's Husky Rob. Yeah. I'll do Michael's tweet. He says, you were talking about Andy Caddick before. Here's a lovely bit of trivia. He played in 3 youth one-day internationals and opened the bowling twice. The 2 players who he opened with both went on to play international cricket. Who were they?
Was this for New Zealand before he came to England, I presume?
That's a good call there.
It doesn't say, but I would assume so, yes.
Embaldina is in to bowl, and Root leaves that one alone outside off stump. I saw talk about, we'll come back to Andy Caddick, but talk about getting Dan Lawrence into the team for India or stroke the Ashes, and that he might be fighting it out with Ollie Pope. Root onto the back foot, a little bit of turn, but he pushes comfortably enough through the offside field out to the boundary edge for a single, 291 for 3, and that is Root's 150.
Well battered, sir. We don't have a jingle for 150. But
we don't really, do we? Yeah, it's been a good knock. Been a little bit fortunate, perhaps, with a couple of very close LBWs that on another day might have been given out, but he's survived on umpire's call. And the new streamlined haircut seems to be working well.
Yep.
Yes, it is. I don't necessarily think that Ollie Pope is nailed on there. He's a very good player. Embaldini in again, defended into the offside. They'll take another single. Lawrence just calming down after his rush of blood to the head in the previous over. Partnership now worth 160.
This must be the highest ever partnership on an English pair as well, because yesterday Root and Bairstow broke it, didn't they?
What, at Galle?
No, in Sri Lanka, full stop.
Oh, in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Probably is, yeah. Probably is. And Baldinia in again, and this is slog swept from outside off stump. Very effectively again by Root. Asitha Fernando comes around at deep mid-wicket, but they've got back for 2. Decent enough throw to the non-striker's end. Root moves to 152, 294 for 3. What I feel uncomfortable about, still feel uncomfortable about, is England's opening position. Certainly if you're looking towards the Ashes. I know that both Sibley and Burns have got hundreds, but I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced by either of them, and I'm even less convinced by Sibley in Australia. Onto the back foot goes Root and hauls this round. Good pull shot, quite straight, and has found plenty of open space and picks up another boundary. I like the idea of Zach Crawley opening, because that means we only have to find one of those two.
I like a right and a left-hander as well as an option.
So you would look at a Crawley Burns opening.
Yeah, I don't mind Sibley actually. I thought Sibley did pretty well. Go on.
he struggled against Pakistan in the latter part of last year. This is played off the back foot by Root to square cover. There is no run. That is the end of the over. 3 overs bowled with the new ball. England are 298 for 3.
But he did pretty well in South Africa, didn't he? Anyway, carry on, Rob.
He did, yeah.
Knuckle says third man doesn't become fine leg when a batter reverse sweeps. If that were the case, as soon as someone reverse swept outside off would become outside leg and LBW would be impossible. The light roller on England's selection, there will also be injuries and possible rotation to consider for India, but delighted to have some competition makes a change. Bairstow hasn't done his chances any harm here either. That's a fair point. And it is a nice problem for England to have, and one they haven't had recently.
No, it's very true. It's very true.
I think the problem for Bairstow is that he's got to make a big score here in one of these 2 tests. I mean, he's 47. It was a decent enough knock. He got a decent ball that got him out. But the only way for a man who's been left out of the central contract from a test point of view is he's got a weight of runs. I think for him. Otherwise, it's going to be tricky for him because I think Pope initially will come in for him, and then if Pope perhaps doesn't fare well in India, then Lawrence may be looked at again. But as you say, there's always the possibility of injuries and strains and who knows what else. Lawrence on 71 will face Norwin Pereira, who throws this one up straight to middle stump. He props forward, defends it back to the bowler. There is no run.
Now I'm going to go back to the Caddick people. Fleming and Jesse Ryder. I can't even remember if they're in the same time zone, but Fleming must be.
Fleming must be around, defended this time to short square leg. There is, again, no run.
Jesse Ryder's got a sort of infinite time span, it seems. Bloke's been around for ages.
Bit like his waist span.
Or possibly, actually, Fleming and Daniel Vittori.
Could be. Pereira in again, flatter ball. Back goes Lawrence, helps it on its way past the short leg. Comes through for a single. And England move within 1 of their 300. Do we have an answer to that question? Did our tweeter give us an answer?
We have not had the answer yet.
I want the answer. Give it to Rob and then we can have a guess. He doesn't have to tell us the answer. I've got a couple of comments on YouTube to get through at the end of this over too.
Okay, Pereira in again. Root comes across and plays yet another of those paddle sweeps. Sets off quickly, looking for the second. He's going to get it easily enough. Had to hurry, but it was never really in any doubt. And the 300 is up for England. 301 for 3. So just 1 success today for Sri Lanka. And that was first thing. I say first thing this morning. It was first thing after we resumed play after a 70-minute break or a 70-minute delay for rain. YouTube.
Jamie Wilson says that juiced up confrontational kangaroo is knocking on his window, beckoning him outside. I think that was about Messages' dogs.
Defended to short square leg. They brought another man in close on the onside, backward short leg. But there's no run.
Bailey Sports says Dan Lawrence looks like a serious talent. Remember the name, he says in caps.
Pereira, and again, gets very close into the stumps, does Pereira. This is defended up towards mid-on. And that is the end of the over. The lead is 166. England 301 for 3.
And he follows that up with Root and Lawrence making Sri Lankan bowlers look like they're fresh out of school. This is embarrassing from Sri Lanka. I'm not sure it's embarrassing. They battered embarrassingly. Is more the point, really, isn't it? They just threw it all away.
Yes, it was appalling. I mean, it really was. Although I did see a tweet earlier. I don't know if it was aimed at us, suggesting that. That Best benefited from the fact that Sri Lanka decided to target him as the weak link. Well, that plan went very much awry, didn't it? I mean, he didn't bowl that well. I mean,
he admitted as much though in the aftermatch.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was very honest about it. Yeah. I mean, it is one of the worst fifers I've ever seen. I did see a really bad sixfer, I think, by Stuart Broad. I think in the 2009 Ashes at Headingley. That was a dreadful sixfer, but and England lost, of course. But that from a spinner's point of view, that was probably the worst fifer I've ever seen.
Armchair Cricket Podcast sort of says similar to what you were saying about Sri Lanka. They said they look really down on the field, no spark or ideas, catches have gone down, not a good look after Mickey lost his rag.
Indeed. Here comes Embaldinier, and he's defended into the offside by Lawrence. There is no run. We said he's into his 33rd over now, 34th over. You're talking about spinners going for a lot of runs, but also picking up a lot of wickets. Lawrence onto the back foot, carves this away through cover for another single. And I think that was true of Hasaranga in South Africa in the first test. He picked up 4 wickets, but I think he went for something like 170. 4 for 170. You end up looking at an average of about 45, which is not that impressive, is it, really?
No.
And Baldinia, and again, bowls through root, and for a moment, he was almost drawn into that shot. It turned away from him. Maybe just at the last minute he held back, but he was almost tempted there by very skillful delivery, but survives, and Baldinia is in again, bowls to root. This time he almost seems to take the bat away from it, but he does play the ball and gets it away towards backward point for a single. He goes to 159, England to 303 for 3.
Tom has tweeted, said, I prefer your commentary to that of my sister, who's just texted me to say Dan Lawrence is wearing striped pants under his whites.
To the back foot goes Lawrence, defends this out into the offside. And again, there is no run.
Well, you have to ask, is Mickey Arthur wearing anything under his, or has he gone commando?
Please don't ask that.
We haven't seen Mickey Arthur's nutsack on Twitter yet, have we?
No. It's threatening to happen all the time. Again, defended square on the offside. The fielder is in quickly to prevent the single, and that is the end of the over. Let's have some more tweets.
Bog says, no 150 jingle. I can do you one of those just as soon as you pay me. Dixon Sider said, if you're going to pick Lawrence or Pope, then one of them needs to bat at 3. Mayank, this is a great effort. 4:20 a.m. here on the East Coast. Been watching non-stop cricket since the start of the India-Australia Test. I'm beginning to get quite loopy at this point.
That's all right. Are you in lockdown on the East Coast? In which case, there's nothing else to do except for drink, smoke, watch cricket, and sleep. I guess.
Very good.
Maybe work from home.
Most of us to do what we normally do.
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit of work from home, but you never know.
Pereira starts. His 24th over, he's swept. That's hit the man at short square leg, who has doubled up ever so slightly in some sort of anguish, but I think he's all right. And they take another single. Root goes to 160. Oh no, he's now looking at his hand.
I'm not sure he is all right.
Oh dear.
Who
not
is
happy
that
with
there?
that. That's poor old Kusal Mendes, who has been in the wars in so many ways.
Well, he's
rather sums up his game, that.
Well, it does. He's dropped a catch. He's got another naught. And now he seems to have broken his hand. No, he's giving the thumbs up to somebody. It's the other thumb, not the thumb that's been injured.
Make sure you bowl at that hand then. I like the way they called it an Audi, what he's on.
An Audi, yes. I'd never heard that before.
I hadn't heard it before.
That's just happened.
Well, I've heard of the Olympic rings, which is 5 ducks in a row.
Well,
I didn't realise there was a 4 one as well.
Well, apparently so. Around the wicket now, Lawrence just drills this back to Pereira. And there is no run. 304 for 3, the lead of 169. Still half an hour to go till tea in this delayed second day. Pereira tosses this one up, and that leaps at him. He's been caught, I think. Yeah. He has. Lawrence has finally jabbed one into the hands of short leg, and he has to go. Finally a breakthrough for Pereira. Finally a breakthrough for... Is it Mendes who's taken it?
Yeah.
Well done, that man. And Lawrence goes for a very impressive 73, and England are 304 for 4.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah, 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 nah.
Oh, guess who comes in now then?
150 balls. Dan Lawrence batted very positively from the word go, really, and looked to the manner born in some respects. Now, can that be a change of luck for Sri Lanka and also for Kusal Mendes? Is Kusal Mendes going to score a really big second innings knock, do you think, after that? that could just be the moment. He thought he was going to go off with a broken hand. Stays on. He takes the catch at short leg. Suddenly, great things are going to happen.
The turning point in the career of Kusal Mendes.
I know. Well, we'll look back on it. And I want to say, remember, I said it at that point. And
I'll remember it when he gets his 5th duck in a row. Yeah, Hender.
Yeah. More tweets. Let's go through some tweets.
We've got the answer to the Andy Caddick question.
All right. Okay.
The 2 bowlers were Chris Cairns and Chris Pringle.
Pringle.
So thanks for that, Michael. Knuckles says Dom Sibley's game is set up to play pace, though the leg gully trap is something he'll have to watch. His biggest issue could well be spinners, so playing in India might be a bigger problem than Australia.
I agree with that. I agree. I don't think he is a very good player of spin at all. I think he struggled against spin from the outset. But I also think that, you're going to have the spin of Nathan Lyon in Australia, and these Australian bowlers really know how to show up any technical weakness.
Warren, morning all, far too early here. Haven't seen Nicky Arthur's shorts yet, but reckon no chance of Dick Weller appearing. Tony has replied to or Jake Ball to that tweet. Dave Wood, suggestions for a Test 11 who looked brilliant on debut but turned out to be shit.
Actually, there is. I wouldn't say turned out to be shit, but I think an example, and one that I was thinking of with regards to Dan Lawrence and the fact that he's become known as Legside Larry. Another guy from Essex who very leg side but came with a really good reputation and not a bad player at all, but struggled because of that technical deficiency was Tom Wesley.
Yeah.
Well,
he was supposed to be the answer, wasn't he?
304 for 4. Come back on that in a moment, Bear. Josh Butler has come to crease. We'll jingle him up at the end of the over. There's only one more ball to go. And at last, Pereira, Dilruwan Pereira, who's bowled so well in general at Galle, has got a wicket. Final ball of the over then. He's in, bowls to Butler, and that springs up off his pad to the man at backward short leg. And he's taken. Just for a moment, there was a little bit of glee and excitement in the eyes of those Sri Lankans surrounding Butler, but they soon realised it was pad only.
How long before we get a text?
Sorry, there is one more ball to come. He's in, he bowls, he goes back, and he defends to Mendes. That's the end of the over. Successful one for Sri Lanka. England 304 for 4. Let's have a Joss Butler jingle.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Prior ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's. Joss Butler.
I was going to say, how long before we get a tweet from either Annie or Grubby? Professor Love.
Oh yes. Well, Annie's interviewed him now, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She got that honour. I can't remember why or how it came about. Whether it's for County Cricket Matters or something like that.
Just through stalking, I reckon.
Yeah, true. Ellen Baldinia is going to continue. 3 for 122 from his 34 overs. England's lead is 169. Joe Root has 160. And the left arm spinner jogs up round the umpire onto his leg stumps, eased into the onside. There's no mid wicket, which will send poor old Bear crazy, and they take a single.
Especially in a test match.
I'm not sure if he made 100 on debut, but I would throw for the test for Dave's 11 Adam Lythe. He started with a couple of big scores and then fell away quite badly.
He got 100 against New Zealand, I think, before the Ashes, and then he struggled in the Ashes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what year that was now.
Did Sam Robson get a ton?
I think it was the 60 All Out series, so that would have been 2015.
Yeah, it was that series. Yeah.
And Baldinia again. Oh, now he gets this one to turn. And Joss Butler plays inside it. It was glove that got Dan Lawrence. We're just seeing the replay of that. He was trying to get his bottom hand off it, but it just jumped a little bit more on him than he thought.
Do you think they're looking at whether his hand was actually in contact with the bat when it hit his hand?
Oh, is that what they... Maybe. Butler goes back. The ball pins him, but it's going down the leg side, so no real problem there.
Knuckles says that the Root Lawrence partnership was England's highest for any wicket in Sri Lanka.
There you go. Pretty good
Yeah, but as
stuff.
we discussed yesterday, how many Test series have England actually played in Sri Lanka?
Well, they've played a lot of short series in Sri Lanka, haven't they? This is left alone by Butler. Never more than 3 tests, I don't think.
And probably only over, 20 odd years? So they probably they probably only
Bit more,
played about
maybe.
5-6 series in Sri Lanka.
30 years, perhaps. Defended by Butler towards extra cover. And there is no run.
The previous best was Nasser Sane and Graham Thorpe in 2001, 167. Matai Mullaratharan bowled 63 overs in that innings.
There's a surprise.
Baldinia bowls again. Onto the front foot comes Jos Butler, just drops it down in front of him. And that is the end of his 35th over. England 305 for 4. Butler yet to score. Root, by contrast, is 161 not out. Let's get through some tweets.
The Beijing Ducks, we have it from a good source. Mickey Arthur does wear underwear, said his stylist Perry Nam.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Okay.
Spangly Sigh. Oh, honestly, I tune into you guys after an early morning training session at work, and the first thing I hear is talk of Mickey Arthur's nutsack. In fairness, you could have tuned in at any point today and heard that first.
We've been absolutely obsessed with it, to be honest.
Mayank says yes, we're technically in a lockdown, but remember this is USA. It's much less restrictive than the UK. I'm in Delaware, so the COVID numbers aren't crazy high.
Pereira starts a new over, and it's first ball to the Root is defended towards mid-on.
Well, we're technically in a lockdown, but
people are ignoring it, seemingly.
Yeah.
Mostly. Pereira in again, bowls. Root goes back, jabs it towards Galle, and there is no run.
Mog says my voice is actually more crusty now than when I came on. I'm going through a variety of voices here this morning.
It's the shock of Mickey Arthur. I think that's what it is.
I am scarred. Grand Theft Auto. The stage is set for Butler to come in and inevitably disappoint.
Well,
this is defended by Root towards mid-on. There is no run. Pereira in again. Short leg and short square leg, or backwards short square leg, as it were. This is swept. He's swept very well today, hasn't he, Root? Not just that full-blooded sweep out square on the onside. He's played the paddle sweep, the little deft shot, the straighter one towards Cow. He's played very well as well.
And reverses.
And he's played the odd reverse. Yeah, just the odd reverse slap. And he's very comfortable playing that shot. Here he is again, Pereira into Butler. Butler looking for his first run. Tucks this past the man at short square leg, but it's only as far as mid-wicket. So he still waits to get off the mark.
What time's tea?
On the hour.
Is it on the hour? Okay, so we've got another 20 minutes to go. Okay.
Yep. Pereira in again. Throws it one up. Lovely delivery. Completely foxes Jos Butler, who drives at that, leaves a gap. And the ball goes through it, but unfortunately for the bowler, goes over the top of the stumps, and they run through for a bye. 307 for 4. More tweets.
Mog has said, shit, I just realised I could have been at the MCG tonight watching the 957th match in this year's BBL.
Yeah, that's another one that goes on too long.
Is it both the Melbourne sides are doing really poorly this year, aren't they? Both the Sydney sides are in the top 2, and both the Melbourne sides are bottom.
Yeah, the Renegades have been spectacularly bad.
And who are they captained by? Is it Sean Marsh? Is he captain of that?
I don't know if Aaron Finch is captain, but Aaron Finch can't buy a run this year for them. Mohamed Nabi won them a game from nowhere.
Right.
And that might be their only win, actually. It's a bit confusing because they've got all these bonus points now. So
that's right, yes.
The league table's a bit confusing.
Embaldinier starts a new over, bowling to Butler. He defends on the front foot. The bowler goes across towards mid-wicket to do his own fielding.
In the game today, Marcus Stoinis opened the batting and made 13 from 29 balls.
Ooh, that's extraordinary. Embaldinier, and again, now Butler thought about playing the reverse to that one, and then changed his mind, played a more orthodox paddle, and picks up his first couple. Just shows the skill of the man, the fact that he was able to think about either of those shots to that ball, and played one pretty well in the end. So he's off the mark. He's got 309 for 4. And Embledinier is into his 36th over. He's into Butler, who does exactly the same thing, really. He's playing with the bowler. He doesn't know which way he's going to sweep it at the moment. He's got a single on this occasion. No, he's got back for the second, as it went fine enough once more. So Butler moves to 4, 311 for 4.
It does occur to me that having had so much spin, both batsmen have been constantly wearing their helmets.
Yes, I think as much as anything is you just you get comfortable with it on, don't you? You must do, otherwise you'd constantly be thinking about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think if you only wear a helmet sparingly, I mean, it doesn't happen in top class cricket at all these days, but certainly in club cricket, if you only use it sparingly, it's actually very difficult to get used to. Onto the back foot goes Butler, defends a straight one, back to the bowler. And again, no run.
Michael says that he never got an Audi as a batsman, an Audi duck, but I managed to triple duck as an opener in the first 3 matches of the season. I only used up 2 balls 2, as I got golden ducks in the first 2 matches and then a diamond duck in the third.
Blimey. This is defended into the offside by Butler.
He goes on to add, I didn't open the batting in match 4.
Funny that, isn't it? Some captains have just got no sense of humour. Embledinier in again. He opens himself up, Butler, and then drives square, but picks out the man at cover. And there is no run. That's the end of the over, 311 for 4.
We've got another suggestion for Dave's 11. Ed Smith, who I think Grand Theft Auto said got a chirpy 50 on debut, I think.
He's certainly got a 50, or maybe even got a couple of 50s for England, but he was goodish. I wouldn't say he looked like he was going to tear the country up, but
well, Keaton Jennings would have to be in there, wouldn't he? 100 on debut. We all thought was going to be great, didn't we? When he forgot that in India, and then look at him, he was hopeless.
Well, I'm just looking up to Ed Smith's record, and I thought he played more than 3 tests, but apparently not. He did get a 50, and was that in his first test? I'm just going to look. Yeah, he got 64, didn't he, against South Africa at Nottingham? Then he got 16, 7, 0, did not bat, and was never seen again. So just that one series against South Africa in 2000. Well, I say he's never seen again. He's seen a lot of other guises as a journalist, writer, selector, you name it. Really, he's done that job.
Well, there's another one there you mentioned earlier. I mean, Jake Bull. What has happened to Jake Bull? I mean, he looked quite promising when he came into the side as a seam bowler.
He's at the Bash at the moment, Jake Bull.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Did he have an injury, or did he just fall off form?
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, I think he was just edged out by slightly better bowlers, or you know.
I think they always saw him as more of a white ball option, anyway.
Yeah, I think he was more of a backup rather than necessarily a front line man. He didn't. I don't know. It's a tricky one, and sometimes selectors to get these things wrong, and he could still be bowling brilliantly for all we know, but just not getting noticed. Butler then to face to Dilruwan Pereira, 1 for 78, and we missed a couple of balls somehow. Defended to mid wicket, and there is no run. I think we were away at an advert and missed a couple of balls. Roots on 163 at the other end. Tea coming up in 16 minutes. Sun has broken through. This is flatter, worked away by Butler from that line of middle and leg, and they take an easy single. 313 for 4, and the lead now 178. Well, I said earlier in the day I thought 200 would be enough as a lead. I mean, England aren't going to stop there, but they've got so much time left in the game. Well, I suppose you've got to think about the weather. This is swept by Root out to deep square leg, and they take another 1.
Yeah, but they want an innings defeat here, isn't it? They don't want to have to bat again. So,
well, absolutely. That's why they will go on. Yes, and absolutely make it sure. I expect England will finish with a lead of more than 300 unless something remarkable happens.
Yep.
Butler's now on to 5. Pereira bowls, turns that quite significantly, hits him on the pad. There's an inquiry from Pereira, there's an inquiry from the man at slip, but I think it was just turning past the leg stump. Good delivery though. And that is the end of the over. England 314 for 4. More tweets.
This is from Messages, who's replying to the one I was saying about from Michael earlier. Said that is particularly impressive, but still no competition for Mendes, who, as George DeBell pointed out, has been dismissed 5 times from his most recent 13 balls in Test cricket without scoring a run.
I know. I feel really sorry because I like Kusal Mendes, and I was impressed by him when Sri Lanka were over here in 2014, was it? And they got heavily beaten at Headingley. I saw the day of the cricket there, but he batted beautifully.
Yeah. He had a decent World Cup, actually. There was a couple of cameos.
And he had a very good innings, didn't he? 170 against Australia when Sri Lanka were humbling Australia in 2016, I think it was. So he's got a lot of talent, but at the moment things are just going wrong for him. And when you're in a side that's not performing well, it shows up more, doesn't it? In a strange way. Because you're always looking for the guy who's going to save that team, and it's certainly not him at the moment. Mbuldinia bowls to Root, defends straight back up the pitch to him, and there is no run. Well, they took the new ball. Has Fernando had a bowl, or has it just been spin with the new ball?
Just spin.
Just spin all the way. Root goes back to that one, full delivery, but Root often likes to play it off the pitch, and he gets right in behind that. Watches for the fact that it might skid through a little bit. Puts his bat down low and defends.
Mog says, to clarify that point, Hendo, English selectors get it wrong sometimes, but Australia's never do.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, fair point. Onto the back foot goes Root. He'll more or less walk the single as he pushes out to deep cover. And then we'll move to 315 for 4.
Well, I mean, the problem is their seam bowlers aren't really strike bowlers, are they?
No, well, I mean, they've got a lot of injuries to their what you might call their strike bowlers. Some of the sort of whippier, actioned Sri Lankans. So that's a really big blow for them. So it's not, by no means is this necessarily a full strength Sri Lankan side. 3 men round the bat for Butler. He comes in, bowls. This one goes straight on. He defends. Ball rolls out slowly past the man at Galle towards the fielder at cover. And again, there is no run.
Who are they missing as seam bowlers?
Chamira is one of those. Pradeep. Lakmal was in the squad. Oh, lovely ball from Mbuldinia. He turns this past the outside edge of Butler's bat. A moral victory for him. But he'd rather see it recorded in the wickets column, or reflected in the wickets column. It wasn't far from his outside edge, and it was even closer to his off stump. A good take by Dick Weller. He's in again, bowls, plays this right from the crease, right under his eyes, and pushes back to the bowler. That's the end of the over. 315 for 4.
We've got a few more suggestions for the looking good on debut team. The Beijing Ducks has suggested Toby Rowland-Jones.
Yeah, but he's been very unlucky with injuries, hasn't he? I mean, as soon as he got into that England side and performed well, he then got a very long-standing injury. I'm sure that Tony, when he comes back, will stick up manfully for Toby Rowland-Jones.
I was there that day against, I think it was at the Oval, wasn't it, against South Africa, when he took 5. That was really was exciting. And Hawkster suggests Hasib Hamid.
Well, I suppose that, yes, he has to be on there, doesn't he, really? I mean, he had a slightly better summer. I mean, it was difficult because he didn't have any cricket until August or so in the Bob Willis Trophy. But he'd moved to Nottingham, and he got a couple of 50s early on. And you know, there was sort of hope that he was going to come back to the kind of player that we saw in India that time, and he may well still do.
He's still pretty young, isn't he?
Still young, still very young. Pereira around the wicket. This time Root squeezes one off a thick outside edge, square on the offside. Was looking at Butler to say, shall we have a single? Butler didn't want it. And so they remained where they were. The lead is now 180.
This is an excellent shout from Jez on the looking good on debut. Hamish Rutherford. I'll explain more after this ball.
In again. Root drives at this one. There's a little bit of turn, so he gets a thick inside edge towards mid wicket, then inspects that inside edge.
So Hamish Rutherford got 171 against England in his first Test innings, and never made another 50 in his subsequent 28 innings. And I loaded.
What's happened there? Root comes forward. The ball just pops up a little bit. Bit of excitement for a moment.
I think that was inside edge onto pad, but it went very.
It went very straight, didn't it? Didn't go square. It went straight, and that actually more exciting for the bowler. Maybe thinking about caught and bowled, but well short of him actually. In fact. I didn't realise Hamish Marshall did that. Swept by Roop. Graham Roop's out there, apparently. But no. Mendes has been hit again at short leg. And we saw what happened last time he was hit at short leg. He took a catch next ball. This one has got him, I think, on the forearm.
I think it's got him on the same hand. Or the wrist.
No, it's just forearm. The front of the forearm, I think, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
Up towards the wrist. So, not very nice for him at all. Ooh, yes, nasty. He played it into the ground, and he was trying to take evasive action, but it found, that just above the wrist. Ooh, he's going to have to get more treatment, I'm afraid.
He must be absolutely desperate for the tea break.
Exactly.
He must probably think about retiring, I would have thought. The way things are going for him at the moment. Or maybe he'll be so injured he won't be able to bat. That might just have put him out of his misery to a certain extent. He's getting a lot of spray put on that. Oh dear. I mean, anyone who's played cricket knows how when you get that awful numbing pain when you've been hit by the ball and you're not quite sure whether something's broken or not, but it feels like it probably is. But what's he going to do this time? Is he going to stay? He's going to have a drink of water.
He can't.
He's got to get someone to open it for him.
Exactly. He's not even got enough strength in his hand to open a bottle of water. Doesn't bode well, does it?
Not really. So.
But the last time he got hit, he caught one soon after. So
exactly. Yes. Exactly. So maybe that's a good sign. As I said, that was the turning point in Kusal Mendes' career. Obviously not. The cricketing gods have still got a few nasty surprises in store for him, it would appear.
Knuckles says the wicket of Dan Lawrence is Pereira's first Test wicket since he had Colin de Grandhomme caught in August 2019. He bowled 89.1 fruitless overs before that.
That is a good fact. That is a great fact, in fact. This is swept from outside off stump by Root to deep square leg. They'll take a single. I imagine as he's shaped to play that sweep that poor Kusal Mendes was diving and wished he could get underground at some point. He's grinning about it at the moment. Anyway, 316 for 4, Root to 166. Butler has 5. Final ball then.
He's got very white teeth, very good teeth.
Good teeth. Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll be knocked out before the end of the day. The way things are going.
Yeah, look at him, cowering as the ball
was absolutely
snapped
cowering,
about 3 feet in front of him, well, 3 yards in front of him.
Pereira in again to Butler, who plays at one wide, going across him, and is beaten by it. Dick Weller takes, but unfortunately for Sri Lanka, no edge. That is the end of the over. 316 for 4.
Dave Sarah has nominated Ian Salisbury for the looked good on debut.
Did he look good
11?
on debut?
When you say look good, I'm sort of inclined. I can't remember, so I have to go and look up and see what they did in that first test to see whether that is borne out by the stats.
He was awful.
Could be.
Didn't he make his debut against Australia? Or certainly he played against Australia. He was at some point in the 90s. He was going to be our secret weapon, wasn't he? And got blasted out the attack.
Well, that's happened to so many, hasn't it? I mean, that's happened to loads of.
Dave has withdrawn his nomination, saying he was serviceable but could have had a better run in a different era.
He's withdrawn. Salisbury has been put forward and then withdrawn. Onto the back foot goes Root as Embuldinia starts his 38th over, and he clubs this out to deep cover, and they take another single, 317 for 4.
Didn't he have a late resurgence in T20 Blast, didn't he? He had sort of T20 specialist. Didn't he play for Essex as well, Salisbury?
No, he was Sussex.
Sussex, and it helped them almost win a T20 Blast season. I know nothing about domestic cricket, but I seem to remember reading a story about that.
He played for Sussex, played for Surrey. Has he got a catch there? I think he has. Well,
not out.
Well, I think so. Nobody else seems to. Umpire Dharmasena is unimpressed, and they've got 6 seconds in which to make a call for a review, and they might as well. And Chandamal does. So we are going to go upstairs to see with whether Embledinier has found the outside edge of Joss Butler's bat. Sri Lanka already lost 1 review. They don't want to lose another.
Keeper liked it, but that doesn't really say a lot.
Well,
no, not when it's Dick Weller.
Yeah, he goes mental. He went mental yesterday for one and looked around for confirmation, and everyone else was like, huh?
Here we go. Let's have another look at it. There looks like a big gap between bat and pad to me. Sorry, bat and ball to me. Unless it's a very faint brush, I would be surprised.
No, I don't think there's
that is out.
There.
I don't think there's anything there.
Looks clear daylight to me.
Yeah. Here we're going to see Ultra Edge as it passes, and there's absolutely nothing there whatsoever.
What was Dick Weller hearing? He's in his head and he's going click. Oh yeah.
Poor old Nursan Dick Weller. Got very excited, but to no avail. I've just seen the messages come out. I'm sorry to sort of interrupt you on the tweets, but I've seen messages made point about Frank Hayes making 106 on debut, and I think I saw that innings. Never exceeded 29 after that. Yeah, I mean, they really thought they'd found a new superstar when Frank Hayes did that. I remember that from my own experience. Embledinier in again round the wicket to Butler. Butler drives this time, but with the spin, he was probably looking to push that a little bit straighter. He got it square with that little bit of turn, so it picked out the man at cover. Nice take by Dick Weller. Let the ball come to him, didn't snatch at it. Onto the back foot goes Butler, defends this one into the offside. The man at Galle comes out to do the fielding.
And wonder if Mickey Arthur's going to be annoyed at that decision.
He'll put out another flag. Embledinier in again, driven this time straighter by Butler. That's what he wanted. He's going to pick up one. He'll probably get back for a second, I think. Yep. Root hurries back to the non-striker's end, nearly collides with the bowler in doing so. They make it, and Butler is on to 7. England 319 for 4.
Dara Azizi says Butler can't play spin. I think you're wrong. Butler can. Well, he says Butter can't play spin, but then he corrects himself with Butler. I disagree.
And again, left alone by Butler. That's the end of the over. 319 for 4.
Leah says that Hendo, your pronunciation of Joss's surname has been dangerously close to Butlord in the last half hour.
Butlord.
Butlord.
Oh, that's curious. Well, I'll look out for that. She's very strong on my pronunciation as opposed to anyone else's of various names. She was putting me right on Embledinier yesterday. So yeah, I feel a bit picked upon, to be honest.
Messi Jez says that the Bear would get on really well with Mark Waugh. He knows nothing about domestic cricket either.
Yeah, the Bear basically knows nothing about cricket, full stop. That's why we let him come in and talk on this programme. No, he doesn't. He knows lots, the Bear. He just doesn't pay attention, does he?
No, and I don't do my homework.
He doesn't do any homework. he really doesn't, and then expects to know things. Anyway, there you go. It's going to be Pereira to continue. Dilruwan Pereira. Round the wicket, and just as he's about to deliver, Root pulls away and indicates something that's upsetting him. Not sure what it is. We're not going to see. It was is it? I think it was part of the sheet of the sight screen fell down or something.
It's blown off the advertising hoardings that are behind the bowler, hasn't it?
Okay. So Pereira comes in, goes past the non-striker known as Butlord. This is defended to short leg by Root, and there is no run.
Grand Theft Auto says that Salisbury's debut was against Pakistan, and I think his first wicket was me and Dad. Not a bad scalp to have.
No, indeed. Another former Sussex player. Pereira in, swept by
Oh no!
poor old Kusal Mendes. He was running about. He was herring backwards towards square leg when he got hit there, and he punches gloves or hands or fists with Root.
Ooh,
that's just skulled him. That's it. That's hit him on the back of the helmet. Poor old Kusal Mendes. He's gone down. Oh my goodness, he's gone down again. He's touching his shoulder this time. Someone has got to put him out of his misery. Take him off. Put him somewhere nice. Put him at mid-off. This is just unfair. This is cruelty. This is pure and utter cruelty. And
I tell you what,
it shouldn't be like.
When he gets to the dressing room, I'll be cutting my bowlers, man.
Jeez. Oh my goodness me! That no one should take this punishment. It's unfair.
Oh man!
He's been hit on the head. He's been hit twice on the wrist, on the head, now on the shoulder. This is a man who scored 4 ducks in a row. This is just, I don't know. If this isn't the cricket gods telling him to give up, I don't know what it is.
I think he's finally going off. Sorry.
Into submission. Oh my word! Poor lad.
4 ducks in a row, and he's now been hit 4 times as well.
Oh, now he's holding the back of his head at the same time as he's holding his shoulder. I think he's just have a lie down for the next session. Really, don't make him come out again. He's completely in the wars. I don't think I've ever seen a cricketer more unfortunate in such a short period. He's really struggling. Then again, I suppose if you are going to keep sweeping and you've got a man in there, he is going to become a target. It's probably a surprise that players don't get hit as often as you might expect.
Yeah.
Today he's just wearing everything, isn't he?
That last one was a proper clatter to the. I think it's a shoulder.
It's the shoulder. That final one. Yeah. That's what's finished him off. So, poor old Kusal Mendes. I feel really sorry for him. I feel like running on and giving him a hug.
A big cuddle.
Anyway.
Someone else is going to take this place. I bet he's not looking forward to it.
Has been called up from the back of the dressing room. They'd all been cowering behind their kit bags. Don't pick me! I don't want to go out there. Anyway, not sure who it is, to be honest, that's come out. He's gone into that position to take over from Mendes. In comes Pereira bowls, and he sweeps immediately. Has it hit him? No, you see, it's just Mendes. It doesn't hit anyone else. That's gone to deep backward square leg, and we take another single. 320 for 4.
I'd refuse to go there. My skipper said there, I'd be like, fuck off.
Well, do you know, the strange thing is, Bear, I used to love fielding at short leg when I was young, and I would just get in as close as I could, and I never had a helmet in those days, and I just sort of terrified to think if someone had really clattered a full toss or something. Onto the back foot goes Butler, defends that to short leg, and there is no run. It's amazing what you do when you're young and you don't really think about it, do you? I'm not going to get hit there. I'd literally also try and get in under the bat if I could. And then someone I knew or someone I played with, as this is defended into the offside, got clobbered in the bollocks by someone clipping off their legs, and that made me think a little bit. That is tea, chaps. It's and chapesses. 320 for 4 in this Moose Cup second day of the first test. 94 overs bowled. England lead by 185. And it's been a good day for England. Just a couple of wickets, one early this morning, then Dan Lawrence later this afternoon. That session brought 114 runs off 33 overs at a very healthy run rate of 3.45. The progress of Root has been seamless, really, and he's batted very well. England have batted very well, and Sri Lanka are looking like a defeated side.
They are indeed.
Anyway. I'll rattle off some of the tweets before we go for tea. Woy Pom says, right, offer more physio on my prolapsed neck discs. Ooh. That are painful and make me even more grumpy than usual. I think that's one thing Kusal Mendes didn't have wrong with him. Leah says, 2 test matches going on. Both have former former World Cup champions involved in the umpiring? Has this ever happened before? I would think not. Good question, though.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Probably one for Knackle if he's listening.
Yes.
In reply to Messi Jez's tweet about Mark Ward, Tony has replied, nickname Afghan or Junior. And Mog says on Mendes, he's not going to survive the game, is he?
I don't think he is. I think he should just be. I think he should just be left in the dressing room to consider his life and what has led up to this point. Those are the bowling figures. Embledenia has got 3 of the 4 wickets, and Pereira picked up 1. That last one of Dan Lawrence. What have we got for tea then, Bear? What can we play for 15 minutes?
Well, for 15 minutes, I could play our interview with Joe Glazebrook. Or CSA, actually. Becky Fairley, what's her name?
Okay.
I'll just have
Fairley Clark, I think, is the name you're looking for.
That's the one I was thinking of, yeah, of course.
Okay, well, we'll be back in about 15-20 minutes for the final session. Until then, it's all yours, Bear.
Okie dokie. Right, here you go. Boom.
Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Guerrilla Cricket.
I'm Annie Chave for Guerrilla Cricket, and I am talking today to Becky Fairley Clark, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Cricket Supporters Association. Becky, tell us a bit about yourself. Why cricket?
Always been into cricket, so thank you so much, first of all, Annie, for having me and for talking to me today. Always been into cricket. My family was really into cricket, and my dad was a massive Kent fan, and so I've got 2 older brothers, and actually they were kind of into cricket, kind of not. I came along and I literally had no choice, and my dad was my absolute hero. So went to a lot of Kent games, but then I was actually born in Sussex, so went to a lot of Sussex games, and we enjoyed this really good rivalry of, county rivalry. And then remember vividly kind of going up to the Oval and stuff like that. So always been into cricket, thank you. And then just kind of the more and more I've been involved in cricket, so I've worked with various stakeholders within the game, just really felt that fans had a voice to play and a real big positive role to play within the game, and so hence why I've ended up heading up the Cricket Supporters Association.
Yeah, I must say this all sounds very familiar to me. How did you get involved with the Cricket Supporters Association?
So the original idea was George DeBell's. So he had the idea a few years ago, and at that time I was doing some PR and marketing work with the Barmy Army. So we got involved then, and then kind of obviously George has a lot of other stuff going on, and so it was actually when I was on maternity leave with my first little boy, and I was thinking about it. What do I want to do? What's going to happen now? And okay, and so I spoke to George and said I'd really like to really move this forward, and so that was back in 2016, 2017, and so from then, just been trying to push it on as much as possible. And obviously over this time period, although it's been awful for so many reasons, it's actually allowed me a bit more time to concentrate on the Cricket Supporters Association, and I think we're really kind of making great moves now, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, again, this all sounds so familiar. I mean, I know exactly what you mean about this time. Okay, so what's the primary objective of the Cricket Supporters Association? Is it to gain or gather together as big a collective voice as possible? Is that one of the things, or?
Absolutely. So I always think that it's kind of like we're here just to give fans a voice within the game. So obviously there are all these other different fan groups and organisation, and every cricket fan has a different view on everything. But there's no one place where you can come together and have the discussions, take part in the surveys. We do a lot of surveys, and just have the opportunity to give your opinion, your voice as to what's going on with the game. So what we've done is develop relationships with the stakeholders within the game, so the ECB and the counties. And as I say, we do the research, and then by collecting what everyone thinks together, we can then present it to the stakeholders within the game and say, this is what fans are thinking about what's going on. And conversely, it's more and more hopefully getting to the point where the stakeholders are coming to us and saying, what do fans think about this? We're a not-for-profit, fully independent. We don't have any commercial interest, so we are all about just representing what cricket fans think. And we know that there's a frustration because you know, you might, as I say, not everybody thinks the same, but I kind of think of it like a democracy. At least when you've had the chance to have your say, to put your opinion forward, you feel better about the fact, even if it doesn't quite go your way, at least you've been considered. Because I think there is that big gaping hole within cricket where a lot of people, stakeholders are asked, broadcasters, counties, etc., about what's going on within cricket, and yet fans, are we asked? I don't know. So just trying to kind of plug that hole and bring cricket together as much as possible.
Yeah, because there's so many little factions, like you say. I mean, it's so basically we want to get a big voice that is there together. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, on your website you list accessibility, accountability and advocacy as key areas.
Yeah.
How do you begin to tackle those? They're massive.
It is. I think this is why it's a long process. This is a long journey that we're on. It is just, as I say though, just trying to work with stakeholders. So what we've recently launched is the Every Cricket Fan, the Diversity Initiative, and that's very much about kind of making sure cricket is as accessible and welcoming and inclusive as it can be. And the advocacy side is very much about kind of, as we say, representing cricket fans. So the more voices we have together, the bigger difference we can make, the more that people can feel that this is a game for them and they get to have their say about what's happening. And accountability is about you know, the other stakeholders, so the ECB, so the counties, so that there is a fan organisation which can hold them accountable and can say, hold on, you know, what's happening here or what's going on there. And obviously we haven't been set up just to kind of bash the ECB, that's not what it's about, but we are there to hold them accountable. So you know, because, you know, there are a lot of different viewpoints on everything, and I think the way that we can really get involved is by, as I say, kind of showing the research, being accountable, you know, making sure they're accountable, and just kind of trying to move cricket forward together, all of us working together.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so you vaguely mentioned Every Cricket Fan. So tell us about the Every Cricket Fan initiative that you're
thank you. So that was launched really, obviously, with everything that's been going on within the world. The Black Lives Matter movement, but then also kind of looking at us as an organisation and making sure we are as representative as possible within the cricket community, because obviously we know that there are cricket fans who love the county game, obviously cricket fans that just love international T20s. There are, you know, such a wide variety of fans. So the initiative is very much empowering everyone to be able to come and enjoy and engage with cricket, and to celebrate the diversity within the game. So kind of working with different groups, whether kind of across race or disability or sexual orientation or any of those different characteristics, just making sure that the game is as welcoming and inclusive and diverse as we kind of would hope it would be, but just trying to understand where that sits within the spectators and the fans of the game.
Yeah. Okay, at the moment you're working with The Voice.
Yeah.
Is this a productive partnership? I mean, is it really important? How important is it?
Yeah, thank you. I think that yes, I think it is, because so for the Every Cricket Fan we set up the Guidance Council, because I think you can only kind of understand diversity and inclusion if you're talking to people within the different communities. So on the Guidance Council we have Rodney Hines from The Voice, Mark Bond, who's the ex-England blind cricketer and now works for Lord Taverners in disability cricket, Tracy, who is the co-chair of Chelsea Pride, and Tamina Hussain, who's on the Berkshire Cricket Board. So we're kind of talking to all the different communities and speaking to Rodney. Obviously, the black community used to, we're always in the grounds, massive cricket fans, massive in terms of participation as well. And obviously that has died away, and so it's kind of trying to understand why that is. And the only way that we feel that we can really understand that is by doing the research, is by actually asking the people within the community, hey, why aren't you cricket fans anymore? Or where does cricket stand for you? Or what stops you going to cricket? Why don't you think about it, anymore? Or do you actually engage with it online and actually that's enough? Or, all those different questions, which I think you can only get to the bottom of when you actually speak to people within the community. And obviously The Voice is the UK's only national black newspaper, and so a great way to kind of reach the community. And we're really proud of that partnership with The Voice and with Rodney, and really pleased that he's come on board and is helping us out.
What sort of reach do they have? I don't know.
I think it's, I think their newspaper is circulating about 25,000, but then obviously there's all the social media channels and everything else as well. So
yeah, okay. You kind of touched on this earlier. Is it important to have a good relationship with the ECB and the counties?
I believe so, yes, because as I say, we have to hold them accountable. So if all fans, or what fans are passionate about, and we know the 100 is one of those issues, then absolutely we need to represent to them the worries that people have, the real legitimate concerns that there are, the fears for the future of the game, the fears for the counties. We really have to represent those at every level, from a fan's perspective. But is it worth us picking a fight all the time with the ECB? Probably not, because then do we lose any kind of position that we have? There has to be a working relationship with the stakeholders within the game for us to be able to move it forward, for us to get the position for fans that we're looking for. We really want fans to be essential, as much as the broadcasters are asked about what's happening in the game. We want the fans to be that asked next, or first probably, is probably better. But, we really want that. So I think it's important to have a relationship with everybody involved in cricket, because I don't think cricket does itself any favours if there's all this infighting and actually then everyone goes, oh, I can't be bothered with that, I'm just going to watch football or rugby instead. So I think, I do think it's important to have a good working relationship, and just, as I say though, absolutely hold them accountable, absolutely don't agree with with everything. If that's what our members are saying, then that's what we represent, and that will always be there. We're a membership organisation, so we represent what members say, and that's why we urge as many people as possible to join up, because the bigger voices that there are, the more that we're together, the less we can just be ignored, the more they have to hear us and what fans are saying within the game.
Yeah, so individually, it would be good for each county to have a fan representative, and obviously we need to work on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're very much looking for kind of county reps for each county. So someone who is either a member or just a fan of a particular county to come forward. Obviously, Annie, yourself, and so for Somerset. So we're looking for county reps. So if anyone's interested in that, they can just email us at info@cricketsupporters.com. But also just everyone to sign up. I mean, if people can sign up just on cricketsupporters.com, add their voice. Whenever we do surveys, and we'll be doing a survey I think at the beginning of next year, then you can get involved and you can have your say. Obviously though, you can email us or tweet us at any time and kind of say, what about this, what about that? And as I say, because we have a good working relationship with the ECB, and that we can ask them questions. So if they do come back to us. So if there's something that we all want to know, come to us, ask us, and then we can put it to the ECB, and you probably feel that you've got more of a voice amongst a bigger community than just yourself on your own trying to get an answer to a burning issue. So
I mean, I know for myself, I get lots of people complaining about certain issues in counties, but it's an individual complaint, and you're not going to get anywhere that way. So yeah, absolutely, sign up, guys. So if you measure your success by how many members you have, how successful are you?
Let's say we can always be bigger, we can always do better. So I mean, and that's what we're trying to get across. And you know, it's kind of like I know that people really care about cricket, and I know that people want to have their say on what's going on within the game. And so please do just join up, because the more voices we have, the bigger difference we can make. I can't say it enough. And so it's kind of like, yeah, we're doing okay so far. We've got about 4,500 people signed up, but we do also have the big relationships with like the Barmy Army and stuff like that. So when we do surveys, we do send out the surveys go out to really big audience, and we get a really good response rate. So, but yeah, I mean, we can always do better. I mean, I want 100,000 people, so you know, I mean, that's the aim. It really is to kind of be as big as possible. But also, if you are do run an individual fan group, we do have an affiliate scheme as well, so you can kind of join up as a whole, which is another option.
Oh, no, that's useful. Yeah. Okay. Sort of finally, how you kind of answered this, but how can guerrilla cricket fans and followers join the CSA?
CSA, yeah. I know. Or Cricket South Africa, no. Or the CSA, the Child Sport Agency, no. Cricket Sports Association. It would just go to our website, so cricketsupporters.com, and there it's just a very simple form. And as I say, if you're interested in becoming a county rep, email us at info@cricketsupporters.com. But also on the diversity side, we have already kind of started conversations with so the Hero Ranas in Headingley, which is a Pakistani girls team that's run by someone that we're going to be working with. We're talking to someone who is setting up a gay men cricket team. So if you've got kind of something along the diversity either outside that you'd like to talk to us about, please do email us as well, because we're looking for kind of individual projects as well to support as well as the larger work that we're doing with the counties and stuff like that, and the voice. And so yeah, please do get in contact with us. And as I say, we just want more people to get involved, more people to let us know what they think, so that we can really, as a fan group, just get involved in cricket, and we can't be ignored anymore.
Yeah, and I just want to add this, you know, that actually it's really, really hard. This sort of thing takes a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's not immediate. You're not going to get immediate results. I think everyone sort of will necessarily think, oh well, I've joined, what's happening now? And that doesn't happen. It's kind of like a very slow wheel, isn't it? And you've got to keep it.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, as I said, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And thank you so much for saying that, Annie. And it is just like, let's keep going, you know. And the more surveys that we do, the diversity stuff that we're doing, that when it comes to the county championship changes is for 2022, we should be involved, kind of having discussions so that fans are involved in those, you know. So there's really big opportunities for us. But as you say, I mean, this is cricket, so things take
ever.
You know? But you know, but yeah, we'd love as many people as possible to get involved.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us, and
thanks so much.
Do everyone sign up to the Cricket Supporters Association. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guerrilla cricket. Revolutionary cricket commentary.